stoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
It's a mighty fancy automobile.
We're about to start, guys.
Road King, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. Should do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.
Yeah, and I'm putting those second halves on your FTP.
LZ 560.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Drive Radio. I am your host, John Rush, along with Steve Horvath from Geno's over in the Littleton area. Steve, thanks for taking time out of this beautiful Saturday and joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me here.
It's actually let's just say this. I'd rather be outside than inside, but
it's a beautiful day.
It is very beautiful. So get outside, enjoy it. If you have questions, though, especially as we start to head into the spring, give us a call. 303-477-5600. That's what we're here for, to answer your questions, take your calls. As we say always, there's no dumb question. Just let us know what it is. So we're here for.
Could be a dumb answer, but
could be. We do our best not to give you dumb answers, but sometimes it just kind of comes out that way. So what I would tell you is, on a day like today, call us early so we can get you on. And because as the day builds up, it will get busier and busier. In the last several weeks, we've had more calls in the 12 to 1 hour than we did the earlier hours. So if you'll just call in a little earlier, we'll have a little more time to chat, and it won't be so rushed, and we'll take care of you. But give us a call right now, 303-477-5600. Question of the day. What is the ugliest car you've ever owned? Or for that matter, what's the ugliest car you can remember? Matt's got one. Here we go, Matt.
I definitely got one. My mom had a mustard yellow, like, Oldsmobile from like the late 70s. And the only reason I don't remember really a lot of it. I remember it was when I was really young. It was owned by my grandparents. Like, the first two cars that my parents ever got were owned by my grandparents, and it was this ugly Oldsmobile.
Got it.
And a 1977 like metallic pea green Impala. I'm talking like right out of Vacation style. It was just nuts.
Okay.
So,
all right. So there's Matt's. What's yours? Ugliest car you've ever owned, or the ugliest car you can remember? I've got my wife actually sent me an article earlier this week where it's the truly, or whatever, the top truly ugly cars, something like that. We'll get into some of those if you don't have any ideas. But what's your question? What's your favorite ugly car? 303-477-5600. And don't forget our sponsors: Napa Auto Parts, K&N Engineering, which does filters and all sorts of other things, Colorado Select Auto Care, of course, Isaac Bouchard, our broker, 303-475-1462, Paul Leuenberger from American National Insurance, 303-619-9891 for all of your insurance needs, and of course our mobile tire guys, Quick Tread, 720-588-9055. And personal testimony on all those individuals. I've used each one of them, and we would not recommend them if we didn't like what they do. So it's as easy as that. All right, let's go to Eric, who is next. Eric, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Hey, have you guys done, or do you know anybody who's done one of the LED headlight conversions?
I do not know anybody that has done one. I've read about them, looked at them. I think it's a fantastic idea. I don't really see any reason why they wouldn't work the way they've got the bulb technology going now, Eric. I think it would work fine.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at them too, and I noticed on a couple of them that, like the fan or the heat, like the heat dissipators or whatever.
Yeah, the heat sink.
Yeah, that you like if you have a cover on the back side of your headlight, you pretty much cannot reinstall that cover. And a couple people were saying, oh, they're concerned about moisture. And I'm like, well, LEDs are pretty much resistant to moisture.
Yeah, well, you want to keep the inside of the housing free of moisture, period, or it will fog up inside and just doesn't work very well. So, yeah, you've got to make sure that it's still free. But most of them allow you to where they'll still, to my knowledge, they'll still, snap into the housing. They've got an O-ring, of course, that seals everything. If the cover on the back doesn't go on everything, I don't know that I'd worry too much about that. As long as the plug has some dielectric grease on it, I think you'd be fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking at too, because I found a couple of kits that are, from good retailers or good suppliers.
Yeah.
They're about $100 to $120. And that doesn't sound too bad.
But
the one company I was looking at, and they have a very good return policy. If you're not happy,
that's kind of cool.
There's a good company that I've actually bought some stuff from them, not in regards to car bulbs, but I've bought other bulbs for around the house and so on. It's called SuperBrightLED.com.
Yep. Yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
Yep. I think their stuff's pretty good, Eric. I've used some of their stuff, so that's kind of a testimonial on my part. I've never had any problem with them at all.
Yeah, and I've used a lot of their stuff too, and that's where I first saw the kits. And they have, I was looking at some of their stuff, but that's why I was wondering if you guys have anybody that's done.
I probably will, if I'd stop long enough here at some point, I'd probably use them and give you a testimony on them because I think they would work fine.
Okay. All right, that's the question. Thank you.
All right, you bet, Eric. Take care. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the sunshine. One line open, 303-477-5600. Jerry, you're up next.
Hi, my neighbor's got a 92 Mitsubishi Galant with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 200,000 miles. And he says when he comes to a stoplight, automatic transmission, sitting there with his foot on the brake, that the idle gets real rough. If he shifts into neutral or park, that it smooths right out. And I didn't know what might cause that.
Well, I guess first thing I would think is more of an engine mount thing, especially in the Mitsubishi. It seems like they had a weak front engine mount. That would be one of the thoughts. Also, because if it runs normal all the other time, then I would think that the mounts might be the where I would chase first.
Okay.
There also could just be a basic idle assessment or adjustment in there that, she could be a little plugged up with one of the ports or something like that, keeping idle higher.
Mm-hmm.
And any one of those kind of things, but it probably should be looked at. I'd look at those mounts first.
Well, what makes it smooth out, or does it?
He says when he shifts it into neutral or park that it smooths right out, but just sitting there in drive with his foot on the brake that it's real rough.
Okay.
Like a carbon clean or something could be a little.
Yeah, I would agree with Steve. Even potentially on that car, a top engine clean, what we call a motor vac, going through cleaning out the throttle body, to Steve's point, all the ports, all the different things that are controlling idle, the idle air control, et cetera. And then at the same time, making sure that all them, 200K, making sure that all mounts are good. I mean, you could have something that's making the idle stumble some in regards to the fuel management side of the fence, and on top of that, having bad mounts, which is just compounding everything. So you could have you could have a couple of problems very easily with 200,000. It could be anything.
Even the throttle plate's worn out a little bit.
Exactly, it could be sucking air through the plate, through the shaft, all sorts of things that way.
Okay. Well, I'll pass that along. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Jerry. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it. We need to find somebody up in Greeley. We get a lot of Greeley calls. We need a member shop up there. We'll work on that a little bit. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. Randy, you're up next. What's going on today?
Hey, hello, guys. John, I want to start out with apologizing. I tried to get a hold of you a couple days ago, and I think you got back with me. I noticed a number on the phone, but I didn't have my phone with me.
No problem. That's okay, Randy.
Okay, but I wanted your personal opinion. Ugliest car, real quick, though. My opinion, it was called the Pacer. I don't know what makes it.
That was one of mine, so you're right in line with me on that one.
Yeah,
Stole
right
mine
next
too.
to that would be the Matador. That wasn't too good.
The Pacer and the Matador, okay?
Yep. Okay, what I was trying to call you about earlier, though, I decided to invest in a fuel pump and keep my vehicle because that's really a lot cheaper than 3 years of car payments.
Yes, it is.
So I did, but right before I got it, I wanted your opinion. They had a $200 difference. They had a rebuilt Carter and they had a brand new Bosch, a $200 difference. But what got me was they said they were both OEM. So now it's like you want rebuilt or you want new.
Those are neither one OEM to Chrysler, and that OEM pump probably doesn't even exist from that long ago. They're both an OEM equivalent, but they're not going to be the OEM pump.
Huh.
The Bosch would probably be a little bit better. Not nothing against Carter, but you get what you pay for.
Right.
The Bosch is going to be a higher end pump.
Is that just because it's new, or, I mean, versus rebuilt? Or, I mean, if you rebuild it, it goes to specs.
Yeah, I would not buy a rebuilt fuel pump.
No.
Okay.
Ever.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was even before they came out with, fuel injection and pumps in the tank and so on. Even back in the day, you didn't buy rebuilt fuel pumps. Even when they were a diaphragm type pump, we didn't buy rebuilds.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we went with the Bosch. Like I said, it's better than 3
Yes,
carb
good.
payments,
That's
but,
a good choice.
That's what I wanted your opinion
Yep,
for.
nope.
So that's,
You made the right
so
choice.
Yep, we'll keep her then. All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Randy. Thanks so much for the phone call. 303-477-5600. We'll take any call that you've got. Really doesn't matter what it is. What's the ugliest car? And I'll save the top 10 list until we get into the 11 o'clock hour for our folks that listen on Sundays. But let us know, 303-477-5600. I can't hear you. Your mic's not on. I can't hear you. Turn your mic on, Matt.
You can't hear
There we
me.
go. That's better.
I want to hear what your ugliest car
What
is.
mine is?
Yeah.
He just somewhat stole it. I'll have a few more. Randy stole mine. The Pacer is a pretty ugly car. Pacer and Gremlin are probably two of my
Yugo.
Yugo wasn't too good either. That's a good point. There's a lot.
I did say there's a lot. We could do a whole show dedicated.
Yeah, we believe me, we'll get plenty of feedback on this particular topic throughout the show today. What's your ugliest car?
The only reason I ask this is because you drive so many cars in a year. I
Mhm.
mean, you test drive 52 to 54 cars a year.
Pretty easily.
So, I mean,
And anymore,
if
there's really not too many ugly. I mean, that's the thing about modern cars today. There's not really too many ugly cars.
Yeah, but also, and see, my dad is around your age also, so you guys are up there at the age where you really remember the really, really bad ones.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Today's cars compared to what we had when I was growing up, yeah, no comparison.
Oh, no.
There was some really ugly, the other ugly car that I knew of when I was a kid, in fact, it was at the dealership when I was a kid, the old Buick four-door Centuries with that goofy, looked like somebody had ran into the back of the trunk, and it was kind of this slanted deck lid. It was the ugliest car ever.
Cadillac's had
a Cadillac had
version
one.
like
Yeah,
that too.
they were super ugly. All right, let's go to the phones. Mike's up next. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. Mike, what's going on today?
Hey, fellas, I've got a young couple that just had their car go south on them with 77,000 miles. And they're looking to buy a new or used car, and you guys have a service that you use, and I hate throwing young people into dealerships.
Yes, I do too. And that's why we have a good broker that we work with. Isaac Bouchard is his name. He's with Preferred Auto Brokers.
Preferred Auto Brokers.
Yep. But call Isaac directly. His cell phone number is 303 475 1462. He is by far one of the most knowledgeable individuals when it comes to new cars, used cars, all the deals that are out there, whether you should lease, buy. He will be very helpful in getting them where they need to go.
That's outstanding. I really appreciate that. Like I say, I hate to throw chickens to sharks.
No, that's why we have teamed up with somebody like Isaac for a number of years now for the exact same reasons you're talking.
Yep. I appreciate it.
You're very
listen,
welcome.
Great show as always, fellas.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate the phone call very much. Thank you for listening. All right. We'll get some calls lined up. Take a quick break. What's the ugliest car you know? And it could be old, new. I don't care. Just throw a few out there. This is just a fun topic. My wife sent me a link on it, so we'll get into the actual list that she sent me when we get into the 11 o'clock hour. But before that, I want to know what yours are, and we'll see whether it matches when we get in the 11 o'clock hour. 303-477-5600. And, of course, anything else you want to talk about. We'll also talk about extended warranties today, whether that's something you should actually buy or not buy, and some of the fine print that you need to be aware of when you actually own a extended warranty. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. John Rush, Steve Horvath, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Are your tires unsafe? If it's time to get new tires, don't go to a tire shop. Instead, let QuickTread bring its mobile tire shop to you. One call to 720-588-9055, and QuickTread's tire experts will help you choose the best tires for your vehicle, lifestyle, and budget. Then, QuickTread will bring its state-of-the-art mobile tire shop to your home or workplace and mount and balance your new tires right there, all while you relax and enjoy the 3 hours you didn't spend going to a regular tire shop. Give QuickTread a call at 720-588-9055 and see how much better buying new tires can be.
Did you know your dealership warranty is not compromised by taking your vehicle to an independent auto care center for repairs and maintenance? The truth is, you're better off going to a local shop like Larry's Automotive, because at Larry's, they can take the time to get to know you and your car. That way, they can take your driving style into consideration. For instance, if you are constantly in heavy stop-and-go traffic at low gear riding your brakes, your needs are different from somebody who regularly drives long distance at highway speeds. Dealerships are required to follow specs that are based on averages and not your individual experience. Trust your car's maintenance to Larry's Automotive and you'll get the best service possible. And their 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty will keep your car on the road for as long as possible. Larry's Automotive is a member in good standing with Colorado Select and Napa Auto Care Centers. Due to construction in the area, please call Larry's Automotive at 303-427-2108 for directions and to set your scheduled maintenance appointment. 303-427-2108.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Drive Radio, John Rush, Steve Horvath from Geno's out in the Littleton area. And lines are open. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. What is the ugliest car? Do you have a car question? We're going to talk about extended warranties throughout the next, really about 2.5 hours now, because we've already chunked away at about 20 minutes of the show. So time flies, and it is a fine, fantastic, actually, I don't know what kind of day you call this, but we're looking out west out of the studio here, and it's about as crystal clear as it gets.
It's supposed to be beautiful this weekend. It's supposed to be 65 today. Tomorrow
75 or something tomorrow.
I was going to say tomorrow's the day you want to
maybe a
get
record
out.
Tomorrow even.
Yeah.
It'll be absolutely yeah. So if you haven't been outside yet, get up, get going, call us. If you got car questions, let us know, 303-477-5600. One thing I would also remind you of, though, is it's still March in Colorado. Yes, the weather is absolutely gorgeous, but it's still Colorado. And I've seen it go from this to 2 feet of snow in a matter of a couple of days. Now, there's nothing, on the horizon that says we're going to have that. But what I'm saying is don't switch those tires out quite yet. We're not quite there yet. Wait until we get into probably, April, first, second week of April, kind of see how things are looking for the rest of that month and then make a decision. But we're still a little early. Of course, I could say that, and it could be like this all the way through springtime. But I've lived in Colorado my whole life, Steve, and let's just say this: I've seen it snow 2 feet in the first week of April.
Oh yeah,
and even May.
Yep, and you've plowed more snow in March than you have any other month, don't you?
Yeah, no, we just went through a big long stint of a lot of snow, and what they're saying is, our trend here lately is we've got more snow in February than we do in March, because February's now kind of shifted to be a snowier month. But it's weather. it flip-flops. It can go from one thing to another. My point is this: don't take those tires off. We're not quite to that point yet. Just keep your tires on. If you want to know about summer versus winter tires and what you need to do there, call QuickTread 720-588-9055. 9055. The advantage Quick Tread has is they come right to your door. And a lot of our guys in the Colorado Select facilities are actually using Quick Tread. Some of the guys have finally figured out that, why do I need a tire machine, a balancer, and pay a guy to be there to do it when I can call Quick Tread and they'll show right up and just do it right there.
And stock tires.
And they're stocking them and doing the whole 9 yards. So it works out really, really well. So, all right, I got a text message on an ugliest car. Let's see what this one says. The ugliest car ever, we actually had this one on our list too. The Pontiac Aztec, which is really, really ugly. This particular gentleman is correct in that. Brent, one of our listeners. And an AMC Matador. Yes, that one also is a very, very ugly car. So there's two more for you. Larry also said, as far as the new car goes, the new Jeep Cherokee, Larry is putting on the ugly list. And it's one of those cars that you have to learn to love it, or at first glance, yes, it can be a little bit on the ugly side. Troy, you're up next. What's going on today?
Hey, sir, I've got a question for you. I've got a 1969 Impala, the Classic Custom.
Yep.
And it's only got 15,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And it's been overheating. It's basically been buried in a garage since December of 1981.
Okay.
So 34 years just been sitting there. And it's starting to overheat. It runs great. No issues with the car other than the fact that you drive more than about 15 miles and it gets hot.
What's it got for engine and transmission?
The 350 with the Super Glide.
Okay, Power Glide.
Yeah, Power Glide. Sir.
Okay, so it's a 350 with a Power Glide. And when you pulled it out of storage, did you change coolant, make sure the radiator's all good and clean, fluids, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, in fact, the reason he parked it back in 1981 was because the radiator was leaking, and he tried patching it and different things, and nothing happened. So I actually replaced the water heater. I put a new water pump in, changed the oil, put new coolant, obviously, with the new radiator.
Thermostat, I assume, too?
I did not change out the thermostat.
You need to.
Yeah.
Need to. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's the cause, but if you've done everything else you said you've done, and you didn't do thermostat, you definitely need to do thermostat.
Okay.
Okay.
It could be just rusted shut.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could just be where it's not opening and closing like it should be. I mean, it's been in. It could very well have been in the car since 1969, for all you know.
Right.
Save it and sell it on eBay.
there you go. Yeah, if it's original one, exactly. On top of that, did you use a new water pump or a rebuilt?
A new one.
Okay, good for you. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot else on those cars. When you did the radiator, was it the same core radiator that you put back in it that came out of it, 2-row, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you should be in good shape. I would venture to guess Steve's on the right track, and it's probably got a thermostat that's sticking.
Okay. If you can do a water pump and a radiator, you can I've never changed the thermostat.
If you did both of those, you can do you'll do that. You can do that thermostat on that car in about a half hour.
With your eyes closed.
Just literally with your eyes. Yeah, I think you could do it with your eyes closed. Just make sure you put spring down when you put it back in. If your eyes are closed and you're in good shape.
Okay, sounds good.
The only thing on those you have to be careful of, Troy, when you do the thermostat, is it'll be really rotten underneath when you pull the snout off. It'll have a lot of pits and stuff from corrosion over time. Make sure, in fact, what I used to do is put that in a vise, take a file, and actually file it nice and flat so you know that it's good and flat. Put a gasket back on it without silicone, because the silicone will get into the radiator and the heater core and stuff. You want to just put some, the old aviation form of gasket, something like that on the thermostat. Gasket is all you need, and then put it back together that way.
Okay.
Sounds great. Just make sure your surfaces are good and flat, and you'll be in good shape.
Okay, will do.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah, that's an easy one.
The old Permatex.
Yeah, the old exactly. Yeah, there you go. The old Permatex form of gasket, I think is what they called it. Those work good on Chevy thermostats. All right, lines open 303-477-5600. Bill in Lakewood, you are up next.
I would have to say the ugliest new car is a Nissan Juke.
Yeah, that's a love it or hate it car.
Because my wife wanted one so bad, and luckily I talked her out of it. I know it's supposed to be a good car, but it's just...
Yeah, they are. My sister has one. She really loves it. It's one of those cars you either love or hate.
Hey, but I got a question. I got an 89 Bronco with a 302 in it, and it's the head gasket for sure is blown.
Okay.
What do you think about doing a top end, or...
How many miles are on it, Bill?
It's my son's car. I think it's around the 100,000 mile range.
Oh.
And it was an engine that they put in. but the guy before him, one of his buddies, had it.
If you're going to do head gaskets, it would be worth at least checking the valves and seeing what the.
Well, see, all I want is I'm the one that called and told you to put the Rhino liner on the outside.
Got it.
I'm fixing me a car to act like every other idiot. And in case people listen and think I just got here, I've lived here for over 43 years. And I'm going to drive that to the supermarket. And,
there you go.
And drive like everybody else.
That way you don't get all banged up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because I got a 2016 Silverado.
No.
It wasn't even a month old. And they were remodeling the King Supers. And one of the contractors backed into it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah.
And stuff. And then, so I was trying to get them to pay for it. And one of the people that worked at King Supers seen the contractor hit it. And after 3 or 4 weeks, they come back and they said, we ain't got a truck like that.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Right. Well, when they remodel another one, if I see it there, I'm patient. I'm retired. I've collected some of my Social Security.
There you go.
Take that.
So back to your the question on the heads. I would actually pull the heads, which you have to do to the gaskets anyways. At that point, I would go ahead and check the valves, check your valve lash, or not valve lash, but the lapping to see how they're, see how things are working as far as the valves themselves, how much wear is on them, and so on. Check the guides, see how much clearance the guides have. And while you're at it, even if all of that is good, you might as well still put valve seals and stuff in it and then put it back together.
I may even just put a factory engine in it because, to be honest, I drive new cars all the time, and I like to go off-road, and it just drives me crazy having a brand new $40,000 truck hearing those branches scratch it.
Yeah, I don't blame you
But
for that.
where I could take this and fix it up, and who cares?
Yeah.
And that's what I...
Yeah, no, I got it. I think you're right on that. You're on the right track.
Right, and you just have the other car, because I hate cars. I went, for a couple of years there, I went out of truck world.
Wow.
And
I can't do that.
Well, I bought a Dodge Magnum. It was fun and it was great, but it was a car.
You can't haul anything in it.
Well, plus my knees are screwed up, so in and out was a killer because
No,
you're
the
sitting
trucks
on the ground.
Visibility's better. I mean, will they continue to sell trucks? Yes.
So anyway, so I traded that in after 3 months and took an $8,000 loss on it. And so then I got a Trailblazer. So then I traded like an idiot when the gas first went up. I called up Donnie and asked him about the Volkswagen Jetta diesel.
Yeah, TDI.
So I bought that and drove that for, I don't even think 2 months. And I traded it back in on a truck again.
Yeah, well, good for you. That's good stuff.
And that was a fun car to drive.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Gas mileage was great.
Yep.
And that thing moved.
Yes, it does. Hey, Bill, going to take one more call before the break. Appreciate you calling in. Let's go to Paul in Denver, who is next. Paul, what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to pay a compliment to Ken Rackley and the guys at TuneTech.
Sure.
My 93 Grand Cherokee, which is, I've talked to you about it numerous times before, I was pulling out of the driveway one day, and it just stalled as soon as I shifted gears, and I couldn't get started. My brother and I worked on it for 3 days and had it hauled over to Ken's shop, and had no compression, essentially, on 4, 5, and 6.
Wow.
And his guys just kept flushing it and soaking it and flushing it with some kind of specialized carbon cleaner. Got her back up and running in 2 days.
Awesome. Good for them. That's a good story. Good. Yeah, well, a lot of other shops would have just went and put an engine in it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's running great. I do suspect, though, it's time to change a fuel pump because it's not, when it gets low on gas, it is not giving me an accurate reading.
Yeah, that would make sense to send it. You just put a unit in it, and Ken knows how to do all that, but yeah, just put a whole unit in it.
Yeah, this would be the second one, or the third one, actually, but I'll do that this summer because it's just, I don't know how to describe it, but I can drive a mile and it'll show that I've lost 2 gallons of gas.
Yeah, that's not accurate.
What's in the gauge,
Yeah, that's not accurate.
Okay.
Awesome. All right,
have
Paul.
a great day.
Hey, what's your ugliest car?
Oh, yeah, well, it wasn't really ugly, but it was the Ford EXP. I called it the experimental prototype.
Yeah, I remember those cars. Yeah, they weren't very attractive cars. Not at all.
Yeah, I don't know what they dumped that for, but
I don't either.
It had to be better.
Yep. Hey, good talking to you, Paul. Thanks so much for calling in. We appreciate it. Lines open. 303-477-5600. What's your favorite? Not even favorite, but what's the ugliest car? Could be new, could be old, could be one you've owned, could be one you never wanted to own, i.e. the Pacer. That was a car I never wanted to own. It could be any number of things. And believe me, folks, there are a lot of ugly cars over the years. So tell us what your ugly car is. And then any other questions you've got, 303-477-5600. Doesn't matter what it is. We'd love to chat with you. And lines are open. Get Larry busy through this next break. When we come back, we're just going to keep talking. I've got also some used cars that get at least 30 miles to the gallon, the 40 mile per gallon club. And we'll continue to talk about the ugliest cars. And speaking of 40 mile per gallon club, the Prius is actually not a very good looking car either. So
You're right.
That kind of fits into the ugly car, end of things. But the mileage is good. So it gets offset that way. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away. John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
K&N's premium oil filters are very different. They make oil changes easier. K&N's wrench-off oil filters have a 1-inch nut welded on the top, so you can easily change the filter with a wrench or ratchet. And used with a Ziploc freezer bag, you can even remove a K&N oil filter with no oil spillage at all. Another great product from K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all 4 wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
John Rush, Steve Horvath, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. We're just trying to figure out what the ugly Cadillac was that was, Steve, where was it made?
It was made in Italy. The body was made in Italy. They flew it over on a 747, and then they put it together here. It was in a co-branding with like Frina, whatever that name of that body coach builder.
Alante.
That's
the Alante.
Had a customer that had an Alante and the Mercury Marqueur.
The Alante was a different car for sure. So now, it wasn't super ugly. It was just a car that was tough to work on, get parts for, and all that.
Sure.
It was an interesting car.
Yep. But he had 2 interesting
It was a square kind of a car, too. So I don't like square cars. That's just me personally. I like more of the sleek look. But back in the 70s and 80s, they were pretty much all square. Wasn't a lot of roundness to cars back then. 303-477-5600. Kathy in Littleton, what's going on today?
Oh, hi. I had a question. You had apparently had something on your show several weeks ago about Tier 1 gas. I was having a conversation with my dad, and I was wondering my understanding is that different states have different compositions that they mandate the gas be?
That's correct.
How can we have different tiers of gas if the states are mandating the composition?
It's a great question. The additives that are required for top tier are basically how do I want to say this? That applies nationwide. So in other words, the ad packs that are required to meet top tier specs, that's a standard that has been set by, I think back in the day, it was started by the certain car manufacturers, GM, BMW, Mercedes, some of those. And then, of course, it just kind of followed suit with other manufacturers also recommending top-tier fuel. So the top-tier status has to do with the ad pack that's actually in the detergents, things like that, that are in the gasoline itself. The blend of gasoline that has to do with the EPA according to the state, and in some cases even different parts of different states, California, Colorado, and so on, that has to do with emissions more than it does anything else. And they do that with different blends of ethanol and things along those lines.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
So in other words, you can have a top tier fuel here in Colorado, and we have a one blend here along the Front Range to help us with our emissions in the winter months, for example. We then switch to our summer blend of fuel, and it's still top tier rated because the ad pack that's in it, but the fuel chemistry is different for our summer climate versus the winter climate.
So it's really two different sets of things that they're talking about.
That's exactly two different sets of standards. So the blend, what they call in the industry, it's called a boutique blend, which you bring up something really important. If the EPA or the federal government would just say, you know what, guys, you can blend one type of fuel coast to coast, we would see a 40-cent per gallon decrease in the cost of fuel overnight.
Oh, wow.
It's huge. And we actually did that for a very, very short time under George Bush back when the recession first started. We actually did that not for very long, but we did it for a little bit where they could just blend one type of fuel coast to coast. If we could go back to that, it would lower fuel prices 35, 40 cents a gallon overnight.
Yeah, and that'd be nationwide.
That would be nationwide. Yep. Yeah. Because it costs them a lot of money to run all these different blends, quote unquote, of fuel, depending upon what part of the country, the state even you're in. Because, for example, we have a different blend here on the Front Range than they get on the Western Slope.
Oh gosh, that's got to be really tough. So depending on where you buy your gas, you're going to have a different possibly performance for your vehicle.
Could be because, some of the winter blend fuels are not as, how do I want to say this? Potent probably isn't the right word. They're just blended differently to where your mileage and such will even change in the winter months versus summer months, partly because the cars are running a little richer in the wintertime because of the cooler weather, partly because of the blend of fuel we have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure does. Thanks.
Right. You're very welcome, Kathy. Thanks for calling.
And can I tell you my ugliest car?
Go right ahead.
Has anybody mentioned the Thing? Do you remember?
No, I forgot about those.
I worked on a lot of those.
Those were really ugly. You're right. That was like a box with wheels.
Yeah, right.
That was so ugly it was cute though.
Oh, good stuff. Kathy, great questions. Thank you so much for calling in. There's a great example of a question that most likely lots of other people out there have, but they've never really thought, you know what, I'm going to call in and ask. But to Kathy's point, there are two different standards, probably isn't the right wording, but the EPA will mandate a blend of fuel in a particular area. Top tier then comes in and says, okay, no matter what, you're still going to have these ad packs in the fuel to meet top tier requirements. Does that make sense?
Interesting. No, I didn't realize if we did it nationwide that we could have that good of.
Yeah, it's huge savings. Most people don't understand that, but the oil companies spend a lot of money running boutique blends, if you would, coast to coast. I believe I'd have to go look it up again, but last time I checked, we had around 45 to 50 different blends of fuel coast to coast.
Even if they pared it down to 12,
even a dozen would be a savings. Yeah. Even if they just hit the hot spots in the country and did it that way, but really, here's the reality. We have enough technology now on the cars and enough equipment and catalytic converters and so on to where we don't need boutique fuels anymore or boutique fuels anymore. We don't need them.
True.
Somebody at the federal level needs to look at that and say, you know what, guys, we could come along here and mandate one blend of fuel coast to coast and save the general populace X amount of money overnight, which, by the way, would feed back into our economy.
But then people would buy cars that get worse fuel mileage. There's a yin and yang to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well.
So if you bought a car that...
They're doing that right now with the low price anyway, so...
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, people wouldn't be as concerned about fuel economy, and that's probably why they're not doing it. But anyway, side note, 303-477-5600. Call us. Anything you want to add to that? If you know more about fuel even than I do, and you can shed some light on that, I'd love to hear from you. But that's all the studying that I've done, some of the things that Dorsey has even told me over the years, and he's probably the biggest fuel expert we have inside of our Drive Radio family here. But if anything you want to add to that, 303-477-5600. The ugliest car you know. We've had some pretty good ones. The thing that Kathy just called in about, they were, to Steve's point, I guess they were cute if you liked ugly cars.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Larry, who's up next. Larry, what's going on today?
Oh, not much. I just got to say something about the Edsel.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was an ugly car.
Yes.
An ugly car that today is worth a lot of money.
Yes, I know. I just don't say anything when they're talking about Edsel. When I was about 12, my dad and a couple of his friends decided to go up and see the new Edsel that's up at a Ford dealership, and I got to go along, and we walked in there, and I looked at it and walked around. And I can't believe we drove about 25, 30 miles just to look at that.
Yeah, what made it so unique back in the day? Because that was way before my time. I shouldn't say way before my time, but that was 1958 roughly, and so I don't remember anything about the Edsel.
Yeah, it was the grill. I just didn't care for it.
So what made it so popular with people, though? It didn't sell very well, but what made it so popular that people?
Well, that was it. There wasn't very many. I made them collectible.
Got it.
Not real collectible, but
And they're collectible today. I can tell you that much. People,
yes.
There's some people out there that'll give a fortune for them. I'm not one of them, but some will.
I just never cared for it.
Yeah, you and me either, Larry. I'm with you.
I'm sure because it was a Ford. I'm sure it's a good car, but it didn't turn me on at all.
Yeah, and I think, no offense against some of you that may be listening, but I think good car in 1958 was a pretty rough definition because I'm not sure there were too many good cars in 1958. No offense, but they, the engines wouldn't hardly run 100,000 miles without having to rebuild them once or twice along the way. So were they really good cars? Not compared to today, they weren't.
No,
not even close.
You're right.
So, anyways.
Yes.
Good stuff, Larry. Thanks so much for calling in. I appreciate it. That's awesome. So, ugly cars. The Edsel made the list here just now, and I would wholeheartedly agree with Larry. That's not a car that I ever cared for, period. But I don't, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. I never liked the big tail fins and all the things that were on all those cars back in the 57 Chevrolets, for example. And I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. Good grief. I'm going to get bad emails now. I think the 57 Chevrolet is not one of the best looking cars ever made. I think a 55 is way better than a 57. Okay. 56 was my favorite of those 3 years.
All right.
But 55 and 56, I am not a tail fin fan. It's just me. Now, some guys love them, think they're awesome. You're just not talking to one of them here. That's just not me. All right, Kenny, you're up next. What's going on?
Oh, not too much. With this gas, you say the tear gas.
Yes.
And you say the 85 is the same as 87 down in California.
In sea level, that's correct.
My question is, if I use the 85, is it good for my motor to help clear it out to use the mid-grade?
What are you driving?
Well, right now, I got I got a 2005 Nissan Quest that I bought at auction. I'm going to pick it up today.
Okay. I would say on that car, it probably doesn't matter much one way or the other.
Okay. One guy at Poker was saying that it helps and it makes a difference. Just that tank full every now and then is what he was talking about.
Let's put it this way: you're not going to hurt anything in doing that. In fact, you could run premium in it. Every fourth or fifth tank full, and it's not going to hurt anything other than probably your wallet. But do you have to do that? Not if you're using top tier fuel. You don't.
Does it help the performance of the car, like using the additives, the 44K and the MOA and stuff like that?
On a Nissan Quest, I would say you could put premium in it and probably not notice much difference.
Okay, and then the ugly cars. I don't have an ugly car, but these ugly cars, like the Avanti that you talked about, the thing, they're worth their weight in gold now.
They are. You're right about that.
So they're collector's items, if you will.
It's interesting how that works. And here, the one thing though that's funny is I don't think the Pacer has ever caught on as a collector item yet.
You're probably right there, but but the Avanti, my German father-in-law, he sold it. He had, I don't remember what year, but he sold it and got a brand new car straight across. This is like in 1985, something like that. But I like the body style of the Avanti, and they were unique.
That's unique. You're right. Yeah, it doesn't bother. That one's not one of my least favorites. Like, the Pacer, for example, would be, or the Gremlin. The Gremlin was another car I just never could stand the look of.
All right, well, that's what I wanted to touch base with.
All right, Kenny, appreciate the phone call very much. So, ugly car questions. We've got some recalls. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break. I'll name a couple of recalls off that Larry handed me a moment ago as soon as we come back, so don't go away. John Rush, Steve Horvath, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Extreme Auto, we're committed to providing the highest level of service possible to our customers. Our highly trained technicians are ASE certified and are dedicated to providing you with world-class service. We have years of experience working on both domestic and import vehicles of all makes and models, and will work with you to find cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. We don't have hidden fees, and we don't do unnecessary repairs. Serving Parker and the surrounding areas, come and see us, the professionals at Extreme Auto, and rest easy knowing you'll get quality work done for a fair price. Our promise to you: extreme service, extreme value, extreme satisfaction. Call us to schedule your appointment today.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, along with Steve Horvath from Gino's over in the Littleton area. And real quick, if you haven't been by Steve's place, Gino's over in Littleton, you need to go by, because I think are you done with all your construction, or just about?
Just plantings now. A few little
It looks really good.
polishing touches, but
It
now
looks awesome.
It's cool.
It looks really good. It's cool. Was it worth it?
I don't know yet. Some days, yes. No, I think so. This week made me feel good.
Well, it looks really good. So if it's any consolation, Steve, the building looks just fantastic, and you ended up with 1,000 square feet extra?
1,000 extra square feet.
That's a lot.
Basically 2 more bays.
Awesome.
So we increased our production ability another 40%.
That's awesome. So you need to go by. See Steve and John at Gino's, and give them your phone number and your address real quick, Steve.
Phone number is 303-794-6700. And our address is 3593 West Bowles in the Littleton area. You'll see our sign. It lights up the whole world there.
Very cool. Very nice digital sign. So yeah, go by, see Steve. Check out his new place. Even if you don't need anything, just stop in, say hi, check the place out. We're going to do a open house / radio remote from there the end of May. So be ready for that. That'll come along May 30th. So last weekend in May, we'll be out there, and it'll be a lot of fun. So, all right, back to the phones, 303-477-5600. Your ugly car pick. It doesn't matter. through the break, we were going through some pictures of the 1978 Buick Century, which looks very similar to the Citations.
Yep.
And man, they're ugly.
They're ugly. And like I was saying, there wasn't a great time for car manufacturers in general.
Especially in the United States of America. We didn't have a lot of good cars in
and
78.
That's when Toyota was really coming along, and Nissan and all those other, and Honda. Honda had a lot of great cars.
Honda was doing extremely well at that point in time. And we were struggling. And let's just say that those were not good looking cars. They went from good to bad like overnight. And I don't know what the designers at GM were thinking when they built the 78 Buick Century, but that had to be one of the ugliest cars ever made. And Cadillac had some ugly ones, and Chevrolet. I mean, whoever was in charge of GM at the time had the ugly gene.
Ugly gene. Well, but even like Honda had that CVCC, whatever. Remember that first Honda that came out was pretty small.
They weren't very good looking either.
So or the Datsun 510. You remember those were boxy, and so that even those guys didn't know what they were doing.
All right, so I'm going to look real quick and see what a 78 Honda. Yeah, the 78 Honda Civic wasn't very good looking either. Oh. In fact, they were pretty ugly. It was just a round little car.
Yeah. But how many of us have the avocado refrigerator in our house anymore? And
that's true.
So maybe it was just a bad time for design in general all over the world.
Yeah, Steve, you got a good point there. All right, give us a call, 303-477-5600. I will say one thing about those little Hondas, though. They would stink and run forever.
They did good.
They got good mileage, and they would run forever. So, all right, recall. Larry handed me a sheet. Hyundai's recalling 204,000 Elantras because of a power steering defect. So if you're a Elantra owner, please be aware of that. Fiat Chrysler recalled 460,000 SUVs. And those are the two that he actually just handed me. You can find all those, by the way, on the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website. And that's an easy one to pull up and look at and just kind of see if there's any recalls that are affecting you. And the way recalls work, if you ever have a question about a recall on your own vehicle, get your vehicle identification number, your VIN number, get it out, call your local dealer or stop by. They can run that VIN number instantly and tell you whether there's any open recalls on the car. In fact, that's a good idea to do, especially if you're looking at a used car. Make sure that all of the recalls are caught up so you don't have one more thing to deal with once you buy the car. So something worth looking at. All right, my dad's on the phone. So, hey, Dad, what's going on?
Hey, Bud, the ugliest cars. You get back into the 50s and there was a lot of ugly cars.
Yeah, there was.
And there was a lot of good cars. But the 61 Plymouth, I thought, us being the GM dealer, I thought was about the ugliest car that anybody ever built. Now, in today's world, if that's got a 413 Cross Ram motor in it, the car's worth a ton of money.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about with the Edsel and some of the other ones, which I don't get it, but that's the way it is. Yeah, that wasn't. I'm looking at that now online. That was not a very good looking car.
The 59 Buick and 58 Buick wasn't a whole lot better.
Interesting.
But anyway,
I don't know why they thought. I don't know. Things go through the. Design changes and, different looks come along at different times. And of course, back then the tail fins were getting, were really, and I don't know when those all started. You know that better than I do, Dad. I don't know when all that stuff started.
Well, 59 was a big tail fins. That was Buick and Chevrolet and Chrysler. Everybody adopted the same thing. And the 58 Buick had more chrome on it that you could ever put on a car. And you could probably build 5 Hondas out of a 58 Buick.
And probably did. They melted them down and shipped them over to Japan.
Yeah,
probably.
Well, they weighed more than a 3/4 ton truck.
Yeah, they did. They did.
And but those cars today, have come back. And but the 61 Plymouth, Mopar designed. I don't know who designed that car, but I wonder if he still was working with them after they got done with it. But it was a good car, but it was just terribly, terribly
ugly.
Ugly, yeah.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, they were not very good looking. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, Dad.
Okay.
All right, love you. Have a good night or good afternoon. Okay. All right. And yeah, my dad has much more memory on those than I do, of course, because he lived during all that time. And some of we should probably switch switch gears here at some point. Talk about the best looking cars. So maybe we'll do that next week. We'll do ugliest cars today. And then we will do the best looking cars. I'll make a note of this. We'll do the best looking cars next week. How's that sound? So then we can reverse this and take a negative into a positive. But there have been a lot of ugly cars over the year. And what's funny, like to my dad's point, Some of those ugly cars, actually, and somebody else, I think Larry said it earlier, some of those ugly cars are actually coming back being worth a lot of money. So, all right, let's go to Don on the phone, who's up next. Don, welcome.
Hi, John. Hi, Steve.
Hey, good morning, Don.
Nice to talk with you guys.
Likewise.
Hey, I wanted to ask you a question, John. I'm replacing the freeze plugs on my engine in my Jeep.
Okay.
And I hear that the way to go is to put in brass ones. Not to use the steel ones. What's your feeling on that?
Oh, that used to be that kind of was the in thing for a long time, was to put brass freeze plugs in because they claim they didn't rot like a normal, freeze plug would. But I never went one way or the other when I was doing, engines. In fact, typically I would still put in the regular, silver plugs, mainly because they were, readily available, easy to put in. And if you keep the coolant up like it's supposed to, it's not a problem anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the only time people have bad freeze plug rot is when they don't change coolant.
Okay, I understand. Well, I could go with steel then if I can find them. I've heard that you ought to stick with American freeze plugs because the Chinese stuff is
a little thinner.
Poor.
Yeah, and on yours, you ought to just be able to go down to Napa and buy they've got universal freeze plug sizes, and yours will be, inch and a quarter, whatever they are, maybe inch and a half. Buy whatever, you should be able to just buy whatever freeze plug is required and buy it. Okay. You don't need to buy a kit. Just go buy however many you need and pop them in.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can sure do that. That sounds like a good idea.
That's another one of those too, where I also, when I did freeze plugs, I always used to put a little bit of that Forma-Gasket around the outside of them. Steve's saying the same thing. Don't use silicone, but a little bit of that aviation Forma-Gasket works perfect.
That 300, that's good stuff.
Yeah, that is good. And because the coolant doesn't bother it is why it works so well.
Yeah. Hey, you were talking about ugly cars, John?
Yes.
I got one now that I just can't. It just amazes me because you'd think car makers would know better now.
Well, you would think.
Yeah, but what was Ford thinking when they came out with the Flex?
Well, that's another one that people either love or hate.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a shoebox.
See, but that car can be accessorized to where it doesn't look too bad. Now, my wife hates it no matter how it looks, but to me, that car you can actually dress up and it's not so bad. But, again, you have to like that body style.
Yeah, I hear that's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, it kind of shows you that you can take probably any car and still dress it up, make it look pretty decent. But, at the end, it's still kind of a pig.
Well, yeah.
If you got to dress it, then maybe you shouldn't buy it.
Well, that's true. That's true. I will say this for the Ford Flex. It's a very versatile, usable car. It's probably one of the most functional cars on the market, but because of its looks, it's never sold very well.
Yeah, you can put a ton of stuff in it, that's for sure.
You can. It works and drives really, really well. But
to
your point, it's not very good looking.
Yeah, it didn't seem to make much difference that way.
Nope.
I was thinking when I rebuild that engine in my Jeep, I've been to Ridge Reamers, and they look like they can do a real nice job on the machine work. I get it all put back together, and I install it in the chassis. Then it may be a couple of years before I get the body all finished up.
That's fine.
And ready to fire. Can an engine sit that long?
Oh, definitely.
It won't. That assembly lube won't go away?
Nope. In fact, right now, the way they, build new engines and so on, those, you'd be surprised how long some engines can sit around in a crate before it ever gets fired and running.
No kidding.
I've bought, over the years, Don, I have bought old inventory, if you would, on engines. I mean, clear back even in the 80s, bought old inventory that had to be sitting on some warehouse someplace for probably 5, 6, 7 years. And you get it, put fresh oil in it, prime it up, and off you go.
And you fire it and you're okay.
Yep.
You don't turn a bearing or anything.
Nope.
Wow.
There's an old guy in Englewood that does engines that's real good, too.
Who's that, Steve?
Roger Rev Motors. And
Rev Motors?
Yeah. If you give me a call on Monday, I'll get you his
number.
You go. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he's just right up your alley for this.
Perfect.
Kind of
Perfect.
Hey, that's a great idea.
All right.
Well, I appreciate
you bet, Don. Thanks so much. Appreciate you calling, and we'll probably see you out at Steve's there on the 30th. That'll be a good opportunity to get back together. So, guys, let's take a quick break. News is coming up. Don't go away. We've got another 2 hours of Drive Radio coming up. Get your questions ready. We'll talk some more ugly cars. We'll talk extended warranties and anything else you want to talk about. Let us know. 303-477-5600. John Rush, Steve Horvath, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
A lot of money coming here and wasting all my time. Cause when you stand so near, I can't lose my mind. It's not the perfume that you wear, it's all the ribbons in your hair. And all the money coming in. wasting all my time.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join me every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. for Sportsman of Colorado. We offer a variety of hunting and fishing experts, outfitters, guns and ammo, and archery specialists. We'll also keep you informed of techniques, products, gear, and conservation news. That's Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays, 1 to 2 p.m., right here on KLZ 560.
This is Kim Evans with Lawford Solutions. Join me and Scott Watley every Saturday from 4 to 4:30 p.m. for information pertaining to seniors and their families on Seniors on the Move Radio, KLZ 560.
John Rush here. On the next Rush to Reason, are you funding Planned Parenthood with your purchases? Chris Walker from Second Vote will be here to help us out. We want you to be a part of our show, so of course, we'll take all your calls. That's Rush to Reason in the evening rush hour every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Brad James. Republican lawmakers saying Hillary Clinton needs to tell the truth.
We need to know why the security at our embassy was not adequate. Why were requests for additional security denied?
In the GOP weekly address, Republican Congresswoman Susan Brooks of Indiana saying Hillary Clinton needs to turn over all of her emails so a select congressional committee can do their job investigating the 2012 attack on the consulate in Benghazi, killing 4 Americans.
By handing her server over to a neutral third-party arbiter, Secretary Clinton can help us move forward with figuring out what happened to our people.
Brooks pointing out it was ultimately Clinton's responsibility to protect those diplomats. A former neighbor of the Clintons is making his point known by putting a computer on his front lawn with a sign. The sign saying, "For sale, used email server, clean hard drive, 15 Old House Lane, see bill." The neighbor saying the Hillary Clinton email scandal should not be ignored. Cyclone Pam ripping through the Pacific's Vanuatu Islands, causing widespread destruction and unconfirmed reports of dozens of deaths. The powerful storm leveling thousands of homes not built to withstand a cyclone. Reports of entire villages wiped out. 2 Wisconsin middle school girls will be tried as adults for attempted murder in the Slender Man case. The 12 and 13-year-old girls are accused of stabbing a classmate 19 times to please the make-believe internet character Slender Man. The young female victim nearly died but has since made a full recovery. The girls facing up to 65 years in prison if convicted. The manhunt goes on in Ferguson, Missouri.
I cannot tell you at this point that an arrest is imminent. There's certainly nobody in custody.
That's St. Louis County Police Chief John Belmar. Detectives working around the clock to find the suspects responsible for the shooting of 2 cops in Ferguson. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
You've been listening to the Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560.
Freedom 560 with Ken Clark, now at a new time, 1 to 3 p.m. on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And it is Drive Radio. Your host, John Rush, along with Steve Horvath from Geno's over in Littleton. And we'll talk about Geno's in these next couple of hours because some of you that are listening on Sunday didn't get to hear our first hour. So you need to go back, listen to our podcast, and check out everything we had to say during the first hour. And if it's Sunday, you can't call in. And a lot of you do, and that's okay. But nobody's going to be here to answer the phones. So just remember, this is a recording from Saturday into Sunday. We're not live on Sunday afternoons, but you're welcome to call us. Send us an email, john@drive-radio.com. In fact, on Saturdays, feel free. You can still do that also. You can send me an email directly. We'll answer your question on air. You can also go to our website, drive-radio.com, or facebook.com/Drive Radio, all one word. Check us out, see what's going on. You can also check out all of our car reviews, and we've got over 220 videos, I think, now on our Drive Radio channel. So check that out. Just go to YouTube, type in Drive Radio, all one word. All of our reviews there. I was just telling Steve, I drove a Kia Sorento, which I went to the launch in back in December, but got a chance to actually drive that car for an entire week. What a fantastic automobile. It worked awesome. You need to go see the full long review. I'll get that up over the weekend. You'll be able to watch that. But that car is quiet. It's luxurious. It's got every feature on it you can imagine. They went as far as even putting, underpans underneath all of the drivetrain underneath to reduce the noise, a lot like what the high-end Audis and Mercedes and BMW does to reduce, noise inside of their cars. And that car just works fantastic. I can't say enough good about that car. So if you're in the market for a little SUV, that car works great. Check it out. Go look at our review on our Drive Radio website, and you'll see everything there. And Steve's got the picture up now, and it's a good-looking car too.
It is good looking.
Yeah, and they've done really well with the looks of their cars. So, anyways, give us a call. Larry's busy right now, but he'll get you up as soon as he can. 303-477-5600. In fact, I'm going to put a couple of you guys on hold to help Larry out. So I just put two of you on hold. Larry will get to you in just 1 second as soon as he feels the call that he's on now. So don't hang up. He'll get right with you as soon as somebody hangs up. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. So as soon as Larry's done screening calls, we'll get you going. And ugliest cars. That's one of our topics of today. And there's a lot.
Lots of them.
And a lot of you called in during the first hour. So those of you that are just joining us on Sunday, we'll talk more about the ugliest cars. And I was waiting until now to actually give you the list of the ugliest cars that actually my wife actually is the one that got me started on this. So real quick, let me read a couple of these off to you. And let me see here if I can get the right website back up and rolling. So let's see here. And this might be a video, so I may have to play this and watch it during the break. If that's the case, I think it is. So I'm going to have to probably watch this during the break.
But like even the Volkswagen Bug was, look at that. That's a pretty ugly car.
It wasn't.
They made a lot of those.
They did. And now they've made them a little better looking now, or at least some people think so. But I tell you what, let's go to the phones. Larry's got one call that he's screening. Looks like he's going to be there for a little bit. So let me go ahead and just take a couple of them. I don't know who this is, but you're on Drive Radio. Tell me who you are, and I'll get your question.
Hey, John, this is Eric.
Eric,
from
great.
Thornton.
Thanks for calling in, Eric.
Thank you. I got a fuel injection question, actually.
Sounds great.
I have a 1999 Ford F-350 with the 7.3 stroke.
Okay.
What I'm curious about is what I should watch for on the injectors, because it's got the factory set of injectors on it. The truck's 16 years old and has almost 267,000 miles on it.
Okay.
So I'm kind of concerned that those injectors, they're not going to last forever, and that's a lot of miles on any car's parts. So
it is, although that 7.3, is one of the engines that, I've seen some of them go literally 500,000 miles. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't put injectors and do some things with them. Are you at that point now? Well, you have to answer that question. Is everything running well? Does it work well? What are your thoughts?
Everything runs great. I'm just one of these kind of obsessive type of people that does a lot of over maintenance because I hate broken down cars.
Got it.
And so what I'm thinking is, do I need to look at a point when I should say, well, they've probably lived their useful life and it should be time to change them?
You're probably getting close to that now. Once you start approaching the 300 mark, I'd probably look at doing injectors. Either as you start to develop some sort of a miss in the engine, which you will. I mean, that would be one thing to look at. I mean, the chances of all of them going bad and leaving you stranded, it's probably pretty slim that would happen.
Yeah, and I've done enough repair and work on cars to recognize that. My thought is if I get to a point where I think one's going to go, I'll probably do all 8 because the next ones are going to go behind it.
Definitely. Do all 8. That is a fact.
Because they're really pricey and because they've held up so well, I'm not in any big hurry to replace them. But, it not lasting forever is a concern. And as far as a 500,000-mile vehicle goes, I got no problem driving this thing 500,000 miles. This is probably the last pickup truck I'm ever going to buy.
Awesome. That's a good truck.
It's an awesome truck. Yep. You can't beat it.
No,
I
works
just like
fantastic.
to keep it running.
Yep. No, it is. The weak link on that, as you know, is if it's got an automatic transmission, the transmission's kind of the weak link in that truck. Everything else on it is fantastic.
The automatics were bad news. I've got the 6-speed manual, so I don't have that problem. The other thing that was the weak link is that cam position sensor.
Yes, that's right.
That thing has shut you down on the side of the road like nobody's business.
That one will leave you stranded, yes.
So that's why I keep a spare. I got a socket wrench in the glove box, so if I get stranded on the side of the road, I can throw one in.
Yeah, no, you're in good shape. I mean, the only other thing you could do, too, in the meantime, since you've got time and you can plan ahead, is look for some injectors, see if you can find a good set at a good buy, get them bought now and just have them on hand, and then when it comes time to replace them, you're all ready to go.
Okay. Is there a particular type of injector, brand of injector that you think is probably stands out above others?
Oh, the factory ones, if you can find them, I still think are the best, which are made by International, of course.
Right. Yeah, that's a spin-off of that Navistar.
Yeah, it is a Navistar.
System. It's what is that? A T44E motor, I believe.
Yeah, and that was all made by Navistar, so that is a Navistar engine.
Okay, I thought the injectors might have been Ford. I wasn't sure on that.
No, you can buy. Well, if they are, you can buy Navistars and still put them in and work fine.
Now, I was also told there was 2 different types of injectors in that year. There was a long injector and a short injector. Have you heard of that?
I don't remember on a 99. I don't remember.
All right, because I'd heard the short injectors, if that's what it had, were problematic. The long injectors were the ones that held up the best.
I don't remember. That's going back a ways for me now. I don't remember. I'll be honest with you.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. I just thought I'd throw that out there and see if there's anything I should be looking for.
Nope. You're in good shape. That's a great truck. Keep driving it.
All right. Hey, for ugly cars?
Yes.
I kind of had mine stolen. The Edsels were some of the ugliest cars. They're way before my time, but I've seen enough pictures of them, and I can't believe people buy them for what they're paying for.
I can't either.
But here's one for you, the Chevette.
Oh, yeah. They were really ugly.
I couldn't believe those sold like they did. I guess being cheap cars, they sold well, but...
That was a price thing. Yep.
That was one ugly car. Now, I'm not going to get to calling next week, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. How about the best-looking car?
Okay.
How about a Pagani Huayra, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's a good-looking car.
It's an awesome car, isn't it? The Louvre packed down to the size of a car on wheels, coupled with an engine to run an aircraft carrier. And laser point accurate driving.
Yeah, no, that is a good-looking car. You're right about that.
All righty. Well, hey, enjoy the day.
Appreciate it, Eric. You do the same. Enjoy your weekend. Line open, 303-477-5600. We're going to keep rolling along on questions. Let's go to Steve, who's next. Welcome to Drive Radio.
Hi there. Hey, quick question. I've got a 66 Falcon Futura. It has a drop-in gas tank. I need to drop it, and I was looking on the internet, and they were talking about how unsafe the gas tanks are. Is there any way to make them safer?
They were unsafe because what?
Because they didn't have they were dropped in and they were the bottom of the trunk. And so if you got a rear end in collision, it would just rupture and could put gas right into the inside of the car.
I don't think I'd lose any sleep over that if it were me.
No.
All right,
I mean, how often do you drive that car today?
I'm just working on getting it fixed up again.
Let's just say this. There were a lot of cars built in the 60s and 70s that had rear fuel tanks. A lot of, not just Fords, but Chrysler, GM, you name it. There was a ton of them that were built that way. I don't know that I saw a lot of cars rear-ended in the back.
Right.
And sometimes the fuel would spill out if it was full, but a lot of times the gas tank, and Steve has seen this, would just crumple. I never seen one completely rupture. They would just crumple. And is it dangerous when gas is out rolling around? Well, yeah, it is. But if you get rear-ended that hard, you probably got other issues anyways.
Yeah.
That's true on that one. So when you drop those, then you just drop it from the top end on it through the tank, do you know?
I would think you'd still drop it
from the bottom out. I would think.
Okay, I don't know. I
would
haven't
bolt
looked at
up
the
that
manual.
way.
I just went out
Yeah,
and
and
looked.
I can't tell you that I've worked on too many 66 Falcons, so I'm
All right.
But I suppose you could add some bracing across the bumper, in the
yeah,
back.
you probably could. But again, would I worry about that? No.
Okay.
My worry would be then you put the bracing in, and it might rub up against the tank and then poke a hole. Then you're back into the same
All right.
deal.
Yeah, and that is one of those cars that's increasing in value. I would not want to do anything to take away from the value on down the road because it's going to go up in value as time goes by.
All right, that's good. Thanks. And then the next question I have is I've got a 98 Toyota Camry.
Okay.
70,000 miles. Just got hit kind of on the right front corner. Not terrible, but pretty bad. But I was just wondering, I'm sure they're going to total it just because of the age and everything.
Yeah.
Is it something that I should try to keep and fix up myself, or what do you
If the rest
think?
of the car is in really good shape and you think you can get it back from the insurance company cheap enough, sure, why not?
Okay.
You'll have a salvage title on it, but as long as you know that and it's not a big deal, yeah, go for it.
All right.
And remember on a salvage title, though, whenever you'll get half of whatever the value of that car is at the time.
Right.
Yeah, they were talking with because since it's from the other insurance company that they don't even change the title on it.
Oh, they don't?
They take a photocopy of it, and I just keep the same title.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah, I think I'd still want to disclose it to
Yeah,
whoever
Sure.
bought it.
Well,
don't
but
be
if you're on that age, if you're just trying to, fix it, keep driving it, go for it.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be a good vehicle for the kids to use.
You
now,
betcha,
so.
definitely.
Yeah, it's already been hit.
You betcha. Can't go wrong there.
I guess as long as it hasn't bent the frame or anything.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's a great idea. So if it's damn it, it doesn't take much to total one at that point. I think is what Steve's trying to get at there, and I agree with that. So, all right, let's take a quick break. We got one line open: 303-477-5600. Rachel, hang with us. We've got another call that Larry's queuing up right now. We'll be right back. Don't go away. John Rush, Steve Horvath, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at ginosautoservice.com. That's ginosautoservice.com.
Your car performs better when things are simple. And it's easy to see how the maze of plumbing under the hood can slow it down. A K&N AirTake system replaces the maze with a single custom engineered tube. The result? A guaranteed increase in horsepower, a dramatic increase you can actually feel. Visit K&N website to look up the extra horsepower available for your vehicle. K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
Steve Horvath, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. And lines are full. As soon as somebody drops off, give us a call. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. Rachel, you're up next. Welcome to Drive Radio. Hello, Rachel.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for calling us.
I have a 2000 Mercedes-Benz C-Class 280.
Okay.
And just shy of 264,000 miles.
Good for you.
I love that car.
Good for
I
you.
would, but I love the car. But it's nearing its shelf life,
Okay.
and I need the 2-wrench service. I always have the service done at the dealership.
Okay.
I don't want to pay dealership prices. I'm just looking for someplace between Denver and Wheat Ridge.
We've got just the guy here that can talk to you directly. Steve, help her out.
Yeah, you can come to my shop. Yeah.
I know exactly. I drive by there
Do
every
ya?
day. In
Good.
fact, you guys had boys playing with asphalt the other day.
Yeah, thank you. There was quite a bit of that. Yes.
Yes, there was.
Please come on in and meet us and get to know us.
Okay. I've got something leaking. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to get down. I don't know what I'm looking at. All I know is I have spots in the
Yeah,
driveway.
you don't need to do that. Let those guys take a peek at it real quick, and they can figure it out.
They told me the catalytic converter is going out.
Okay.
So generally, the first time you start it in the morning, it's fine. Doesn't matter if it's hot or cold, second or third time start. If you stop and start it goes. You start it again, it goes.
Oh, like
and if you give it gas, it'll go. And I don't have any problem. But that's what they thought the cat was going. Now, if I can get the catalytic converter replaced fairly inexpensive, I'd like to hang on to the car for a little bit longer.
You know, what I'd like to do is get you in and just give it a good inspection and see what we think the noises and leaks and stuff are, and give you an idea of, the overall what the car's like. And then we can kind of make a game plan of what things to do, not to do, and things that are coming and not coming along, and those kind of things. Just get a good overall health.
Okay. Well, like I said, I drive by there every morning.
Oh.
So I'll stop by Monday on my way into work.
Sure. Please do.
Perfect. That's awesome.
We can chat.
Awesome. Yeah, good stuff. Great.
All right.
Rachel, thank you so much. You have a great weekend. Appreciate the phone call. One line open, 303-477-5600. Marv and Eaton is up next. Marv, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, John. Good morning. Just wanted to say how much I enjoy your show, and wanted to tell you about an ugliest car that I thought of.
Awesome.
We were overseas in the late 60s, early 70s in Spain, and they had a Citroen 2CV.
Yep.
And I don't think they were ever imported here on a large scale, but they were some kind of ugly.
I'm looking at it right now, and you are correct. Yes, it is. Very, actually. It's kind of a cross between a Volkswagen and, well, I don't know how else to describe that car. It's basically a Volkswagen and the old Volkswagen thing front end bolted together, and there's the Citroen.
Yeah. Yeah, they were pretty ugly.
Yeah, you're
and they
right
had
about that.
Tremendous suspension travel on them to accommodate the roads that we encountered over in Europe at that time, and they were quite the.
Did the car work okay?
Pardon me?
Did the car work okay? Was it a good
Well,
car?
as far as I knew over there, they seemed to be pretty popular and they seemed to work good. But their standards, when they had Fiats as their main car, was not a great story to tell.
No, and that the story on, of course, as you know, the story on Fiat now is, of course, wow, what a turnaround they've had, and their CEO Marchione, man alive, has that guy taken something and turned it into a piece of gold. I mean, that guy has just done phenomenal with that company. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, amazing. How he's done very, very well. Let's just say that.
Yep.
All right.
Sure. Well,
Good
thank
stuff.
you much.
You're very welcome, Marv.
Keep up
Thanks
the
so
good
much for
work.
calling. Yeah, appreciate it, Wayne. Thanks so much for calling, or Marv, I should say. Thank you for calling. I appreciate that very much. We have two Waynes up next, so hang with us. 303-477-5600. So Wayne number one in Denver, you're first.
Well, hello, and how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for calling us, Wayne.
Good. The guy that had the wreck, was it the Falcon? Who got rear-ended with the gas tank and stuff?
Well, he's worried about being rear-ended and wants to make sure that he's safe in case something were to happen.
Yeah, because I think there was talk about insurance company and fixing it and buying back, but I was just more concerned that, I just had to go through a similar thing on my car got hit, and it was old car, but the insurance company really tried to rake me over the coals on the value of it. So I had to do a lot of research to determine the value, and they can total it if the repairs exceed a certain percentage.
Yeah. Do you know what that percentage is? Did they ever tell you?
No, they were talking 50-60% when I was talking to the body shop.
That's
and
what I
so
thought.
the valuation became very important, because even if they wanted to total it, that didn't necessarily mean it was a salvage title. It's just they didn't want to work it or pay to fix it. So might be something for him to look into to, that's not a common car to determine valuation on.
Got it.
All right. Have a good time.
Hey, you're very welcome. Thanks so much, Wayne. We appreciate it. One line open, 303-477-5600. Wayne, number 2 in Golden. You're up next.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
I have an 02 Buick Regal with 98,000 miles on it.
Okay.
I'm a Pickering customer. Just want to play the plug-in for them. Very good service. My question is this. The car is 14, 15 years old. How much more life, given the mileage that I've stated? I mean, have you seen those cars go beyond?
You're not even half where you're not even half wore out yet.
Okay, even the longevity, though, isn't something to be concerned about?
Not on that car.
Okay. Can you give me an idea what would be extreme?
Oh, gosh, I've seen them go well over 200,000 miles. Well, I mean, like 270, 80,000 easily. That car is not even close to half wore out yet.
And is there any major problems I should expect at the 100,000 mark?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope. Really. I mean, those are actually really solid cars. That's back to our ugly car. Talking about all that. That's actually a pretty good looking car too. So no, that's a great car.
Sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah. No, you got nothing to really worry. Those were, quite frankly, those were some of the best cars. I don't say the best cars GM ever built, but those were some of those were some good cars. Let's just put it that way. They did a good job on it. They had a good engine. The transmission problems by then were really worked out. Body and interior probably not as good then as it is today, but it still wasn't bad. I mean, that car will service you for a very long time.
Very good. That's what I needed to hear.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. Thanks for calling us. All right. Lines open. 303-477-5600. Anything you want to talk about. Ugly cars that got totaled. Do you want to keep it? Do you want to fix it? Do you want to sell it? Larry just handed me a sheet of IM 240, which is our emissions program exemptions. There's certain cars that they just cannot test, evidently, on the dyno. And we've got a few of those listed here. I can maybe read some of these, but I don't want to confuse people. So I think what I'll do is I'll just hang on to this sheet. And as we need it, we'll just reference back to it so that everybody kind of knows. There are some vehicles that, even though you're supposed to have a dyno test, they just can't test it, i.e. the 2005 Corvette with low-profile stock tires. They can't run that on the dyno, so it won't get an IM 240 test. So what do they do then, Steve, if they can't run an IM 240 on it?
They've been doing. They've also been checking it by to see if the monitors have run. And
got it.
Also go back to that.
Got it.
So yeah, we've just attended a class a few weeks ago about it.
Okay. All right.
It's a changing thing.
Yes, it is.
And
yes,
as technicians, we have to stay together. It's an interesting fact we learned is that they gave us right off the presses a 40% retest failure. So if a car fails now, it comes back at 40%, which is our end. Mechanics need to be better, learn more.
Got it.
Because they expect more like 10. I mean, if it fails and it comes back, it should come back fixed.
Right. Not failing again.
Yeah. So that's why they're educating us a little bit more.
Got it.
So the state's working a little bit with us.
Got it. All right. 303-477-5600. Questions, emission stuff, the new program that's out now. Ugly car. What's your favorite ugly car? It doesn't have to be a favorite, but name an ugly car. Next week we're going to do the best looking car, so we'll switch gears as we get into next week. But your favorite ugly car. We do have some extended warranty stuff we will go over yet this next hour, and anything else you want to talk about. You're listening to Drive Radio. I'm your host, John Rush, along with Steve Horvath from Geno's. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. More Drive Radio to come. KLZ 560.
At Arvada West Auto, we know that fluids are the life of your vehicle. They are also complicated, with all the different types, from motor oil to gear oils to coolant. The types of fluids, service procedures, and intervals can vary widely. Let us help you sort out what your vehicle needs and when it needs to be serviced. Stop in or call us at Arvada West Auto. 11752 West 64th Avenue, 303-422-1065. You can visit us on the web at arvatawestautoandtruck.com.
Are your tires unsafe? If it's time to get new tires, don't go to a tire shop. Instead, let QuickTread bring its mobile tire shop to you. One call to 720-588-9055 and QuickTread's tire experts will help you choose the best tires for your vehicle, lifestyle, and budget. Then, QuickTread will bring its state-of-the-art mobile tire shop to your home or workplace and mount and balance your new tires right there, all while you relax and enjoy the 3 hours you didn't spend going to a regular tire shop. Give QuickTread a call at 720-588-9055 and see how much better buying new tires can be.
Your car is trying to tell you something. By the way, you have difficulty getting into gear or into reverse. By the way, it hesitates when you step on the gas. What your car is trying to tell you is that you need to go see Larry's Automotive and Transmission right away. Regular scheduled maintenance is the best way to avoid costly repairs or replacements, but if it comes to that, Larry's Automotive and Transmission has the experts you want working on your vehicle. They do all their work in-house using premium quality parts, and they use local vendors whenever possible. If a rebuild is necessary, Larry's ASC certified technicians will do it themselves rather than order and wait up to a week for a replacement to arrive. Larry's Automotive and Transmission is a member of the Colorado Select family of Napa Auto Care Centers and ATRA, which means their repairs are covered under warranty all around the country. Due to construction in the area, please call Larry's at 303-427-2108 for directions and to schedule your appointment. 303-427-2108. When your car is telling you something, take it to Larry's Automotive and Transmission, the best service possible.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every auto repair says so much more than, if it's not right, we'll try to fix it again. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty tells me that this is a master mechanic who's confident, who knows what they're doing. I mean, nobody offers a warranty like that, right? Colorado Select Auto Care Centers do, and only the members of Colorado Select offer a warranty this good. Find a mechanic who's a member of Colorado Select Auto Care at coloradoselect.org.
All right, here we go. John Rush, Steve Horvath. Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Lines are full. As soon as somebody gets done, or comes off the phone, I should say, give us a call. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Dave, you're up next. What's going on, Dave?
I have an 02 Chevy Suburban. It's the 3/4 ton.
Okay.
With the 6.0. And, you know, it just wants to stay at 2,000 RPMs no matter what. It doesn't like to shift out of that when I'm going up the hill. And it lags in the shifting. And it seems like it doesn't really grab, you know, the torque converter.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what a normal stall is, and if there's anything I can do for, you know, adjusting the shifting.
The normal stall on most late model vehicles, including trucks, is probably 600 to 800 RPM is all.
There's a tiny bit of grab, but it doesn't seem to really grab until about 18.
So about 1800, yeah, I would say you've probably got a converter problem at that point.
Okay. Is that common?
Yeah. That's not common, but, you know, converters do go bad. I mean, it's a component that's got multiple pieces inside of it, and if one of those pieces starts to give away, then, yeah, you could definitely have problems. How many miles do you have on it, Dave?
Yeah, it's 130,000.
Yeah, that's not excessive by any means. What part of town are you in?
Drake. Up near Estes.
Near Estes. What I would do, I tell you what, I'm going to put you on hold. Let you talk to Larry, because Larry and Jeff are our resident, transmission experts. I'm going to put you back on hold for a minute. Let Larry talk to you. You may want to still.
Would you also expound on, the motor noise they make, the piston slap?
Yes.
Or...
Yes.
is common on those.
Yes, it
and
is.
if it is a problem.
No, I mean, a lot of them do it. I wouldn't, kind of like I told a few other callers today, I wouldn't lose any sleep over that at all. Make sure you're running good oil in it. I would run synthetic oil and still change it about 5,000 miles on that particular vehicle just because of what you're talking about.
Right.
But transmission-wise, I'm going to put you on hold, let Larry talk to you directly. It may be worth a drive down the mountain. I know you got to go to Westminster, but Jeff knows that transmission extremely well, better than probably anybody else up in your area does. It's worth a drive down the mountain to go see those guys and talk to them. And at least if even have them go for a test drive with you and kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at and so on. Is the rest of the vehicle in real good order?
It has seen some action. I'm somebody who likes to utilize my vehicle to the fullest.
Are you going to keep it for a number of years to come, or what are you?
That's what I'm trying to determine if it's something that's going to be worth.
You need to drive down the mountain, talk to Larry and Jeff, have them drive it, even kind of give the vehicle a once over, determine whether it's worth fixing or not. I'm going to put you on hold right now so Larry can get you all of his information and tell you how to find them. So Larry, talk to Dave on one. He needs some transmission work, and you're the guy to do that. So let's just make that really easy while you're sitting in there. We have one line open, 303-477-5600. Charlie, you're up next.
Hi, I have a question about tire sizes on the emissions.
Sure.
I've read up, and they were saying they can't have anything over 34-inch tires.
Yes,
that's correct.
Okay, so I got a 99 Dodge Ram, and it's got a 6-inch lift. I got 37s underneath it.
You'll have to put small tires on it to test it, take them off, put the big ones back on once you're done.
Right, I was wondering, can I just get away just doing the rear tires, or do I have to do all four?
Depending on what kind of car. I did it on a car the other day.
It's rear wheel. I mean, you can take it out of 4-wheel drive, correct?
Yes. Right.
I believe.
Right.
I mean, that's a.
You look funny, but you do it.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks goofy, but you could.
What part of town are you in too?
I'm in Wheat Ridge. I'm just not too far from the Golden.
Do you have another set of tires and wheels to put on it?
I do. I do have stock wheels.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. You're set. Then you're good.
Well, I'm missing one, but.
Well, as long as you've got two to put on it, you're fine.
There is a shop near me that let you rent their tires and wheels.
Yeah, we used to do that all the time. Yeah.
Really?
Rolling emissions, I think what they called it.
Yeah.
And it cost $100, and they did it for you. I think it was. And then
when I had our 4-wheel drive stores, if somebody, one of our customers had a lift and all that, we used to just stick them on there, let you go test and bring them back, and I never even charged anybody for it. But that's, that was one of the things we did as a shop. But in your case, if you've got your tires, put 2 of them on it, go get it tested, and you're in good shape.
Okay. All right.
Yep. You'll be fine. Yep. But they're telling you it's correct. That's how they do it.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Charlie. Appreciate the phone call. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. And we got somebody coming in right now. I'm going to put you on hold. So Larry will be right with you in just a minute. And he's actually still talking to Dave on the transmission. So that's fine. And double check on emissions if your vehicle is going to be tested on a dyno, or is it going to be tested by the monitors? Good point. A 99. Let me look at this sheet real quick that Larry gave me. I don't think his is listed on here, so it's going to go on. Yeah, it's going to be a rolling. It's going to go on the dyno. If he had a Dodge Dakota quad cab with full-time four-wheel drive, then it's exempt. But on his particular vehicle, nope, he's got to go roll it across the dyno and get it taken care of. So, all right, we'll get another call here in just a moment. Gosh, just lost my train of thought. I was thinking of something else that I was going to say as we were coming out of that last caller. Oh, I know what it was. Larry was talking to the transmission, to Dave on the transmission. And what I wanted to finish up with Dave was if the rest of the vehicle, is worth keeping, all the rest of it's in good shape and so on, then it's probably worth doing a transmission. But a transmission anymore is not cheap. No. You're going to spend some money doing a transmission. So you really want to make sure that engine is sound, transfer case, differentials, all the rest of that stuff is actually good so that you're in good shape. That's a good vehicle. That 02 is a good car to put the money into if you're going to put the money in. Well, yeah, because that car is worth some good money. So yeah, I definitely think it's worth taking care of and fixing. And yeah, I'm actually kind of a Suburban fan, so I actually really like them. So, all right. I had a article also that Larry had given me, which was talking about some scams, but I don't know. I think I'll save that, and we will do that at a later date once I have a time to go through this. Ugly cars is what we're talking about today. 303-477-5600. I know that sounds kind of funny, but if you've got a ugly car story, something along those lines you want to tell us about, I'd love to get it. A lot of people have already chimed in on what they think is an ugly car. And we've actually gone through some of our own. So some of you that have listened on Sunday, we did a bunch of these during the first hour. So if you're just tuning in on Sunday, go back, listen to our first hour podcast. It'll be a lot of fun and you'll enjoy it. And we'll continue on with that. If you've got an ugly car, something you want to mention, we'll add it to our list. And there's some other ugly ones that nobody's mentioned. So they haven't all been mentioned yet. So you can call us and tell us.
Did we talk about the Pinto?
No, we didn't.
About the Pinto.
The Pintos weren't very good looking either. That was kind of Ford's demise at one point.
Remember the Corvair?
Oh, Corvairs are really ugly. It's another car that is kind of a collector's car, but I don't care for the looks of it. Jerry, you're up next. What's going on?
Oh, hi. I just had a question about oil change intervals.
Sure.
I called a dealer, and my car calls for oil change every 7,500 miles. And
Let's start with what are you driving first, Jerry?
Kia Forte.
Okay.
2015.
Yep.
And so I was talking to the quote brainiac at the dealership, and he said, I told him, well, I probably put 7,500 miles on in a year.
Okay.
And I said, so I was just planning on waiting, until I hit 7,500. And he said, well, even if you don't drive the car, the oil will break down.
Not
Is that true?
No, that is not true. No. How can it? That means every oil in every bottle on every shelf is breaking down as we speak, and that's just not true.
Yeah, in fact, I asked him, so you're telling me if I went out and bought some oil, dumped it in a bucket, left it in my garage over in a year's time, it will have break down? And he said yes.
Well, what would happen is, let me explain that a little further. If that bucket is not sealed and air, water, dirt, contaminants can get in, then of course, no, that oil would not be good. But of course, that's not the case in your engine. It is sealed. It's not airtight, but it's sealed pretty well. The only thing that can happen that you have to be a little careful of with engines that sit that much is they can build some condensation inside. But on late model engines, the reality of that happening, during that year's time frame, I would not lose any sleep over it. You can change once a year and you'd be fine. He's not correct in what he's telling you.
All right, I think he was just looking for some business.
That's
Thank you.
Probably what he's doing. So no, you're fine. Once a year oil change, you'll have no problem doing that whatsoever. Jim in Denver, you're up next.
Okay, I've got a 1965 Plymouth Barracuda.
Oh, good for you.
And I'm thinking about restoring it, and what does that cost?
Ooh. Well, what is the condition of it right now? That's probably the first place to start, Jim.
It's got an engine which has not been run for probably 10 years.
Okay.
It was replaced in, 72, and it was Plymouth Barracuda engine.
What engine option does the car have?
318.
Okay.
And it's probably got 20,000 miles on it.
Okay.
Okay. The rear end's at 8 3/4.
Yep.
72 Barracuda.
Okay.
Engine. Rear end.
Yep.
Which is, I guess, 2 inches narrower than the 65.
Okay.
The rear window has just been broke out of it.
No, that's not good because that's an expensive part. So what's the paint and interior like?
It needs new paint. The interior, the roof material has just come off.
Okay.
The interior is not good.
Well, I think what you're going to need to do, number one, is you probably need to get somebody to come out, look at the car, and give you an appraisal of what the car is worth today versus what the car would be worth restored. And that same person could probably give you a pretty good idea of what that restoration process would cost. And then you'd have to determine, is it worth restoring?
Okay.
And I've got somebody that can do that. My uncle actually does that on a regular basis. Have you got internet access?
No, I don't. But I can go down to the library and get it.
Okay, what you need to do, because it's easier for me to email this than it is to try to tell you over the phone. Just send me an email, or just go to our website and go right to the contact page. You don't even have to have email. Just go to our website, drive-radio.com.
Okay.
Send me there's a contact form there. Just fill that out. Tell me who you are, that you need help with an appraisal. I will get you with my uncle, and you two can get together and kind of figure out what your next step would need to be.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Appreciate the phone call. Yeah, that one's a tough one because that car is not worth, believe it or not, even though it's a 65 Barracuda, it's not worth a ton of money, and it's probably going to cost more to restore, Steve, than what it's probably worth. So
I'm just looking here. The average sale is about 14,000.
Yeah, and it's going to cost way more than that to go through it. But anyways, we'll help him out.
But if you like the car,
that's exactly right. David in Sterling, hang with us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come right back. We do have lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. Ugly car questions. When to change oil. What type of oil? You name it. We'll take them all. Drive Radio, John Rush, Steve Horvath. We'll be right back. KLZ 560.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff. Napa Auto Parts.
Are your tires unsafe? If it's time to get new tires, don't go to a tire shop. Instead, let QuickTread bring its mobile tire shop to you. One call to 720-588-9055, and QuickTread's tire experts will help you choose the best tires for your vehicle, lifestyle, and budget. Then, QuickTread will bring its state-of-the-art mobile tire shop to your home or workplace and mount and balance your new tires right there, all while you relax and enjoy the 3 hours you didn't spend going to a regular tire shop. Give QuickTread a call at 720-588-9055 and see how much better buying new tires can be.
Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all four wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, John Rush, Steve Horvath, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. And we got a couple of email questions that I'll actually answer here in just a moment. Also, one line open is all 303-477-5600. And David, you're up first. What's going on?
Well, I got a 1998 Chevy Tahoe with 5.7 liter Vortec motor in it.
Okay.
I think I've got a bad fuel injector, but from what the research I've done, I've kind of figured out that it's got what's called a spider web injector system.
Sure does.
And I'm wondering if those injectors are individually replaceable, or if
no, buy the whole assembly, the spider kit with all the nozzles and everything. You buy the assembly and do it that way.
That's the best way to do it, huh?
You could, but it's not good.
No, it's not worth it.
It wouldn't be worth your trouble. It's so hard to get to.
Well, that's kind of what I'm figuring. Is what's to say another one's not going to go bad in 6 months?
And I think the pressure regulator's there too, and that tends to leak a little bit in that intake assembly there. So if you buy the assembly, then you get that replaced too.
Now, how big a job? How hard is that thing to get to?
3-4 hour type deal. It's a good day's work for somebody on their own.
Yep.
Okay.
But it's not impossible.
Cool. All right, great.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome, David. Appreciate the phone call. Line open, 303-477-5600. Ronnie, welcome to Drive Radio.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great. Thanks for calling us, Ronnie.
Is it difficult to replace oil, power steering, and brakes? And brake fluid?
What are you driving?
Yeah, all that stuff.
2011 Honda Pilot.
Oh yeah, that should be done often, almost every 30,000. The brakes at least, and the power steering. That's kind of depending on how it looks. But
Is it difficult?
No. It's not bad. There's different machines that we use to actually do it to help flush it all out.
So when you guys flush out the brake fluid, do you guys open all the fitting on the brake lines?
Yes, we have actually a machine that we put on there that pushes it all out and tries to get every bit out of there, because it's good to get every bit out of there. Especially Hondas they want it done quite often.
How much is it to replace fluid? Brake fluid and power steering fluid.
Oh gosh.
$200 to $300, depending upon who's doing it, where you're at in town, what shop you're at, and so on. But an easy $200 to $300
for both, or just for one?
For both.
For both.
For both?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys.
You're very welcome, Ronnie. Thank you for calling us. Again, line open, 303-477-5600. Greg in Denver, you're up next.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
2006 Aveo, about 7 years ago, 30,000 miles. And we changed the oil in it every 2,000 miles religiously.
Okay.
Never been over 2,000 miles.
Okay.
Used the dealership AC oil filter.
Filters. Okay.
Okay. In February, I'll take it back. This last fall, I started developing a leak on the valve cover gasket. So this February, I went ahead, pulled the valve cover gasket. And when I pulled the valve cover off, the top of the engine was full of sludge.
Really? What kind of oil were you using?
I got the best I could, put the new valve cover gasket on, put it back on. Can you tell me why? I mean, I had never been over 2,000 miles on changing that oil.
What brand of oil were you using?
That's what I thought you were going to ask. I used Walmart.
Walmart brand. Interesting.
Well, and
still should be a decent oil, though.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any issues.
Now, this car's never been out of town. It's only been used for in-city driving.
Got it. Unfortunately, and you're probably not going to want me saying this, but that's not my favorite car of all time by any means. That's the Chevy Aveo, which is basically a Renault. And it's probably not one of the best vehicles on the road today by a long shot.
What's the PCV system like on that thing too? Is it
good? Is it working well?
Yeah, that
the last time I checked it, it was.
Okay. How much sludge is in it, by the way?
Well, I couldn't get it all out. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
And see, when I bought the vehicle, the first thing I did is I went down to Napa, got engine oil flushed. Now this was 7 years ago.
Right.
And I flushed it twice.
Got it.
To start over, all brand new.
Yeah, and you bought it with how many miles?
30,000.
Okay. Yeah, the problem is you don't know what was done in that 30,000 either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it runs great.
I'd have a hard time.
I just turned over 100,000.
I'd have a hard time attributing your sludge problem to the Walmart oil and 2,000-mile oil changes. I mean, you're changing it way more than you probably need to, even with the, even if it's not a full brand of oil, which again, their oil meets all the specs. So I can't go out there and knock them. It's not my choice. I mean, I still am a synthetic guy. I like Mobil 1 and so on. The problem you've got is you don't know what happened in that 30,000 miles prior to you owning it. It may have had 1 or 2 oil changes in that amount of time. You have no idea.
Exactly. One other question.
Now, what I will tell you real quick, I know Dennis out in Parker, he's got a machine where they're doing some actual engine flushes with his machine that does a better job of getting rid of the sludge. You may want to call Dennis out at Parker and ask him what he thinks about your particular vehicle. Might even have him just take a peek down inside the valve cover and look at it and kind of see what's going on. And he may be able to flush more of that out with his machine and then help you get started off fresh that way.
Is that the only one, and Parker's got one?
That's the only one I know of that does.
Jeez. What about, what's your opinion on that BG 109?
It's good, but it's not going to help you get rid of the sludge that you currently have.
Okay.
Okay. If you've got that much, you're going to need somebody to power flush the engine, get rid of the sludge, and start over.
Okay.
And then start using some good synthetic. And I do not know the cost of that at all. Call Dennis. I'll put you on hold. Larry can get you his number real quick so you can give him a call this week. And that's one of those things. Frankly, Steve, I never owned a flush machine. Dennis has just done it recently just because of situations like this where something's happened and you need to get the engine flushed out good.
I was going to call Dennis and see what he spent on it and see if I should start bringing that in as a service. I know the BG one, we've done it before, but this one seemed a little heavier than what we could handle.
Cool.
Than what our machine, or what the chemicals can do.
Hang on, I'm sending a text message here at the same time. Sorry about that.
Actually, I wonder if Dennis is listening. I wonder if he can call in and tell us.
Well, yeah. In fact, Dennis, if you are listening, call us. Give us some feedback on how you do that engine flush and how it works. Because I don't know a whole lot about it. It's just not something that we did when I owned my 2 facilities. But Dennis, if you're listening, call in, let us know. Because I don't know a whole lot about it. All right, line's open 303-477-5600. We do have a email question that came in. All right, and I'm just going to read this straight up. 2001 BMW 330i or 330xi. My dad just gave me his 2001 330xi automatic with 90,000 miles. Front passenger side CV axles need replaced. Want your opinion on aftermarket axles? Napa has new and remanufactured options. Both are A1 Cardone brand. The new axle is made in Asia, and it's $90. The remanufactured one is $75. Another choice is the OEM manufactured unit by JKN or GKN that I can now buy online for $360. I would buy the new Napa axle shaft. What about you, Steve?
I agree.
So, Chuck, if you're listening, that would be my advice. Buy the new axle shaft from Napa. There'd be nothing wrong with that at all. There's no reason for you to spend the $300+ on the original BMW type shaft that you got to get shipped in and so on. There's no sense in doing that. The new shaft, and there's not enough difference in price between the reman and the new to go reman.
Most definitely.
Agreed. $15 is all it is. So
it's a better shaft, better axle shaft.
Buy the new Napa shaft. Give him the shaft. All right. So if you're still listening, Chuck, there's your answer. Plus, I'm emailing you back. And that's how you do it. So if you don't want to come on air, you're busy, you're doing something outside, who knows, you could have 100 things going on today. Send us an email. Go to john@drive-radio.com. Send it there. Or you can go right to the website, drive-radio.com. Fill out the Contact Us page. It'll come right to us, and I'll answer it for you on air. And I had a really nice email, Steve, that came in off the website that I thought was great. This was from Scott. He's in Aurora, 83 Porsche 928S. He says, I want to say thanks for being a positive influence in the local auto repair industry and hobby. Listening to your program is helping me stay motivated to finish a project I started a few years back, then sit and collect dust. Now I'm finishing up installing the rebuilt manual transmission, making the linkage adjustments. I'm also nearly finished with the 2 pages of repairs on an 87 924 S4 that I bought to save from the junkyard and to sell to someone who will appreciate it, unlike the previous unknown owner who he says some people should not own or have nice, complex cars. So, Scott, thank you for those kind words. I do appreciate that very much. And guys like Steve coming down, helping out every single Saturday, Larry Unger on the other side of the glass, and our great engineer, Matt Matulik. I tell you what, with that, we're early enough, or late enough, I should say, in this hour. We'll take a quick break. Hour number 3 of Drive Radio is going to come up next. Don't go away. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600, and we'll be back right after this. Don't go away. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
A lot of money coming here and wasting all my time. Cause when you're standing oh so near, I gotta lose my mind. There's nothing better from that you wear.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Randy Corcoran here, so excited and grateful for the continuing and growing support and enthusiasm for the KLZ Morning Show. I could barely keep up. Monday night, I'm part of a panel discussion doing immigration right at CCU. So I want to talk with you on the morning show about not the politics, but the principles behind our immigration choices that can ensure our nation survives and flourishes, plus the results of the Colorado Republican Party elections and my good friend from down under, the amazing Trevor Loudon, back on the show. 5 to 8 a.m. Monday, invite a friend and join us. Wake up with Randy Corcoran on KLZ 560.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join me weekdays from noon to 1 for Haystack Help Radio. We'll help with consumer problems, give you quality business referrals, let you know about the latest scams, and we'll also give great help for seniors. Weekdays, noon to 1 for Haystack Help Radio. Check out our website, haystackhelpradio.com.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Kay Long. The Republican Weekly Address calling on the former Secretary of State to hand over her email server. The Blaze Radio's Brad James explains.
Republican lawmakers saying Hillary Clinton needs to tell the truth.
We need to know why the security at our embassy was not adequate. Why were requests for additional security denied?
In the GOP weekly address, Republican Congresswoman Susan Brooks of Indiana saying Hillary Clinton needs to turn over all of her emails so a select congressional committee can do their job investigating the 2012 attack on the consulate in Benghazi, killing 4 Americans.
By handing her server over to a neutral third-party arbiter, Secretary Clinton can help us move forward with figuring out what happened to our people.
Brooks pointing out it was ultimately Clinton's responsibility to protect those diplomats.
That's the Blaze Radio's Brad James reporting. Meanwhile, State Department spokesperson Jen Psaki saying the department not automatically archiving emails sent to a .gov email address, contrary to what Clinton says during her news conference about her emails from a private server being preserved. Psaki responding to a reporter's question at a State Department briefing.
I think the question is automatically, it's starting to happen. It wasn't the case or wasn't the policy previously. It makes it certainly much easier for employees for it to be automatically archived. And I think it's safe to assume some assumed that was what was happening at the time as well.
Psaki saying before February, senior workers at the State Department and other agencies responsible for flagging their own records for preservation, an Inspector General report showing many workers not doing this. Searching for victims of Tropical Cyclone Pam as it smashes through the Pacific island of Vanuatu. Reports coming in of dozens of dead and unbelievable destruction. Vanuatu, located northeast of Australia. Detectives still looking for suspects in the shooting of 2 police officers in Ferguson, Missouri. Dozens of leads pouring in. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
You've been listening to the Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560. Randy Corcoran at 5, Laura Ingram at 8, Monday morning on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter of a mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And it's Drive Radio, hour number 3. John Rush, your host, along with Steve Horvath from Geno's. And lines are full. As soon as somebody drops out, we'll get you right on. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. John, you are first. What's going on today?
Yeah, I've got a 4.0 Ranger engine.
Okay.
And I'm putting in upper and lower intake manifolds. I had some leaks down there.
Got it.
Pull the codes and all that and the scan.
Right.
So to torque them, I've got 3 torque wrenches, and they're all kind of cheap, but it says you go from 22, 88, 115 inch pounds.
Inch pounds, yes.
And then you jump, the last tie down is from 11 to 13 foot pounds. Well, I'm looking at my little torque wrenches, and one only starts at 120.
Right. You've got to have a special
pounds.
torque wrench to do that. That's a I don't want to say this. Most of them are 1/4-inch drive. The lighter weight torque wrench is what you're going to need to do that. If you've got a 3/8 drive wrench, you probably have too much wrench.
Well, they're small drives.
Okay.
2 of them. I got one big one.
Okay.
But they don't.
They don't go down far enough.
My inch pound starts. It starts at 5. Foot pounds, and it goes up. I suppose I could just feel it and then go to 5 and.
You could. I mean, and it's not hard to feel that light, but just be careful not to over torque them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The smallest little socket wrench you own.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Easy does it on there. And what's the best way to clean those ports? Just the mating surfaces. I hear you shouldn't use,
non-chlorinated brake cleaner is the best. With the little tube coming out on the the little long red tube that comes out of the nozzle, use that.
All right. And how about scraping off the little bits of?
Make sure nothing gets down inside the intake, and do it by hand, not with a machine.
Yeah, definitely. Shop vac it as well.
Shop vac everything out good. Lay some rags, down inside, or some paper towels or whatever down inside the valley, so you don't get anything down in there, and keep things as clean as you possibly can. It's not even a bad idea to take and stuff it down the ports while you're doing that if you can. Just depends on how clean you think you can keep everything. Because remember, there's going to be valves open no matter what you do.
Yeah, and I've been pretty careful with that. One thing I noticed, I've never had a cooling problem on this, but the last 2 cooling ports, when they put the RTV down, whoever did this the last time, it's got 180,000 miles on it. Someone did it before. They are actually covered with that stuff. And there was like a little hole in each side. Obviously, the coolant got around it.
Yeah.
Someone
That's
went
probably
wild
too
on
much.
that.
Yeah, it didn't need that much.
Sometimes people get a little.
Yeah, you'll carried away with it. Yeah, and that's why I'm not a big RTV fan. It's okay in certain spots, but just don't go overboard with it.
Sometimes less is more.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they literally covered the ports up, and obviously it doesn't look like there's any damage, but
got it.
Plugs look good and all that stuff.
And even change oil after you're done too.
Yeah, I'll do that. There's the thing. Can I spray the upper rock arms with that brake cleaner? It kind of spray it away so it doesn't go on the ports.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of dust stuff that falls in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I even take a little oil and I'll pour over the top of the rockers and go into just washes it all away.
Yep.
So last thing I do, just put oil on top of everything.
Yep.
And then change it. Make sure I change it before I start it.
Yeah. Before you start it, not just run a little bit.
No, before you start it. Before you start change it.
Yeah, because whatever is in the bottom will get sucked back up to the top.
That's right. It'll all get out of that way.
It'll all be a waste.
That's right.
Gotcha.
That's always a good thing.
Yep.
Well, appreciate it. I
betcha,
want to get another 100,000 miles out of this.
I don't see why you can't.
Doing the plugs and all that. The plugs, the gap was like almost, it was more than double.
Oh, wow. Yeah, really wide.
And they were so old.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank
John, you bet. Thank you very much. Appreciate the phone call. 303-477-5600. David in Idaho, you're up next.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to comment about the engine flush machine.
Yes, sir.
We had tried that at a couple of the other shops that I worked at. And I think unless they change the technology and the way they do it, in our case, they circulated a hot solution, like a really lightweight petroleum through the engine, heated, to try and break down the sludge. But most manufacturers, I mean, just about every manufacturer will have a bulletin stating not to use that machine.
Right.
That it's harmful. And we've actually had issues where, you know, if the engine had a accumulation of deposits, it will lead to a engine failure after doing a flush, because you're just breaking up sludge that would be in the valve cover and other core parts of the engine that, you know, that accumulates. And then down the road, what happens is it basically starts, you know, getting in suspension, and then ends up clogging the oil pickup and starving the motor. So, you know, I still think that if you have a sludge issue, the only way to really eliminate that sludge is pulling valve covers and dropping the oil pan and just washing it out. That way, you know, you can get it all out. But those flush machines really good.
Yeah, to your point, I don't know anything about this machine that Dennis has. I know it's a new technology, but I have no clue what it is, how it works. I've never owned a flush machine in my whole, you know, career in the automotive world, so I don't know anything about any of them.
Yeah, and my experience with them has been not good. So
what were the brands that you used? I'm just curious.
I don't remember. I don't remember. I honestly don't.
I just want to know which one to stay away from. So
yeah, I never did any of them, kind of for the same reasons that you're talking about. Although, you know, no offense, but on a Daihatsu 4-cylinder, you know, no offense, but I'm not sure that the longevity of that's much further anyways, so it's probably not a big deal one way or the other.
You know, and you had an important point about the PCV system, and we've seen that with a lot of the European cars, Volkswagen and Audi in particular. Saab had an issue with the 9.5 and the 9.3 models where the PCV system isn't it wasn't designed correctly in the first place.
Right.
You know, so if you're driving short trips, there's not enough you know, PCV going on to basically, you know, keep that crankcase clear.
Yep.
So that's usually the
pull it out. Yep. Exactly.
That and long oil change intervals.
Exactly.
So,
yep. David, appreciate the phone call.
it.
No, thanks so much. I appreciate it. And of course, the other thing we didn't know on that car is how, you don't know in 30,000 miles how it was treated, how many oil changes it had, all those different things. Yeah, and at some point I will get Dennis to come on and talk about what he does. I mean, I don't know the machine. I'm not privy to any of it. I just know that he's had good luck with some of the ones that he's done, but again, I don't know the machine. I don't know anything about it. We'll get Dennis on next time and talk about that. 303-477-5600. One line open is all. Call us and we'll get you right on air. Barb, you are up next. What's going on today?
Hi. I have a 97 Lexus ES300.
Okay.
It's got 221,000 miles on it.
Good for you.
I love my car. I just know that once I give it up, I'm not going to be able to afford to replace it with as nice a car.
Got it.
So I'd love to keep it going if possible.
Got it.
So we change the oil every 5,000 miles with synthetic oil.
Good for you.
And so the check engine light came on, and then the track off light came on. And so they've been on for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And we have all of our maintenance just done with a local place, that's one of the, I don't know if I can say their names on the air or what.
You can say it. We don't care.
It's Brakes Plus.
Okay.
And they've been really good to us because we've owned half a dozen work vehicles like Ford trucks and stuff that they've worked on all these years for us. And they keep us going, but I don't trust them to do look at the engine and
I wouldn't
tell
either.
me
No, that's not
really what's wrong with it.
That's not their forte. That's
Right.
really not that's not their business model in what they do. They're doing the quick service items and so on. They're really not designed to go in and look at drivability problems and fix, check engine lights and airbag lights and things like that. And I think they'd be the first ones to if they're being honest, they'd be the first ones to tell you that. So yeah, no, you need somebody. Probably Steve is the closest to you if you're in Highlands Ranch. Steve, why don't you tell her how to get a hold of you?
Oh, I thought she was in Lakewood. I'm sorry, I read the wrong screen. Oh, yes. Yeah, we're at Gino's Auto Service on 3593 West Bowles, just down Santa Fe from you. Santa Fe and Bowles, roughly.
Yeah, and Steve can do everything that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we can take care of you. No,
and
no
get you,
our phone number is 303-794-6700 also.
794-60.
700.
Okay.
Get you another, $150K plus out of that car and keep you going.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
No reason why he can't.
It's a good car. It's worth keeping. It's worth keeping it going.
Definitely.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Barb. Thanks so much for your phone call. 303-477-5600. Don in Lakewood is next. Don, what's going on today?
How do you do?
Doing great. Thanks for calling us, Don.
I was watching how they do it, a show, and they were putting together a gas pump in the gas tank.
Okay.
And it had a filter on it.
Yes.
And what's the chances of that filter getting plugged up?
Typically, it doesn't plug up any sooner than the pump itself would go bad. It's a screen. It's really not a filter. It's more of a screen. It's not as fine of particulates as what you would think. The fuel filter is catching all of the fine particulates that would be in there. But to your point, it's a good rule of thumb to make sure that you use a good, high-quality gas. And theoretically, you shouldn't get much contaminants down in the fuel system anyway. So if you're keeping the fuel system, clean, using proper fuel and so on, the reality is all that's doing is picking up the big chunks from getting down into the pump. That's all it's doing.
That's the way to think about it, because they used to have gas filters along, maybe a plastic line or something, and they get pieces of stuff, maybe from the rubber or something. And I've never had one fail, but would that be something you would check? How would you know that would happen?
It's pretty rare it's going to happen where you would want to check it. I mean, if you're going to go to the trouble of pulling that out, it's really not worth it. Now, in all the years, I've never seen one plugged up on anything new. Some old stuff, when the tanks could rust a little bit, then that could happen, but it'd have to be pretty old.
Right.
That doesn't seem to happen
and typically, it's rust and that type of contaminants that you get down in it, the screen's going to take care of. And again, if you're taking care of the fuel system properly, that really shouldn't be there either.
Mm-hmm. There's no really sensor that makes your light go on or anything.
Light go on for what?
Well, I'm just saying, we have a Ford Ranger, and when the light goes on, they plug it in, and that might be 100 different things that go. Oh, you mean
the check engine light, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes. There's lots of things in the system that can turn that light on and off.
But maybe not. If it was the gas filter, it may not.
No, there's nothing in the filtration or the pump or the screen on the pump that will turn that light on.
Oh, okay.
That's all maintenance items.
Well, that's nice to know. I appreciate your thought.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome, Don. Thank you so much for calling. With that, we got to take a quick break. We'll get some more calls going. One line open, 303-477-5600. Dan in Lakewood. You'll be next on your 98 Mazda Brakes. Stay with us. John Rush, Steve Horvath, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original. Yeah, there are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturday. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at Gino'sAutoservice.com. That's Gino'sAutoservice.com.
Arvada West Auto wants to help you get the best fuel mileage you can. Approximately 3.5 million gallons of gas a day are lost due to underinflated tires. There are many things we can do to help you boost your fuel mileage, and most of it comes down to basic maintenance. No one likes to spend money on unplanned repairs. Let Arvada West Auto and Truck do what they do best. Keep your vehicles running at peak performance. From tune-ups to wheel alignments, they've got you covered with a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty on most cars. On the web, visit ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com or call 303-422-1065. Arvada West Auto and Truck, where every question is important. Located on West 64th Avenue between Ward Road and Sims.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
right, John Rush, Steve Horvath, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. One line open is all. Little Bob Seger in the background. Good stuff, Matt.
Man from Michigan.
Hey, there we go. Perfect. Good job, Matt. All right, we had another ugly car email, and that was the Family Truckster, which there's some movie cars that are really ugly. Family Truckster, the Shaggin' Wagon, and let's see, Matt had one other one. Hang on, I gotta read it off my notes here. The what is it? The Murphy, what is it, Matt?
It's the Murphmobile.
Murphmobile.
There's actually two of them because you have the first one, which is the original, and then in Wayne's World 2, you have one that's pretty much like a limousine version of it. So that
cool.
one was pretty ugly too.
Very cool. And I'm getting text messages in from lots of people because there's a big event today going on inside of the Republican Party to elect new state party individuals. So Steve House is now the new chairman of the Republican Party in Colorado. So we'll have more on that. Probably not much more today because the next round for the vice president starts next. But some of you that may be interested in that, there you go. Most of you probably aren't, but we'll roll right along anyways. And one line open, 303-477-5600. Dan is up next. Dan, welcome. What's going on today?
Yeah. I'm replacing the rotors and the pads on my truck.
Okay.
98 Mazda truck.
Front, I assume?
Yeah, it's drums in the rear.
Got it.
Somebody told me, I'm not sure, but when you buy new rotors, whether you have to have those turned initially or not.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
You used to. The old days, we would turn them to true them up, but the new ones now are made so well that as long as you've got all your mating surfaces really clean and flat, put them on.
Yeah, you just clean them basically, then like with a degreaser or whatever.
Well, or if they've got a bunch of rust and stuff in them, you want to get all that rust and stuff cleaned off of there, which means you may have to, either file it or wire brush it or use a drill with some, with a tool on the end of it to, kind of get all that nice and clean. You just want all those surfaces nice and flat and clean.
Right where the hub, where the rotor bolts up to the hub.
And the center, so everything centers up properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question. Semi-metallic or ceramic pads, which do you think are best?
That probably had a semi-metallic to begin with in 98, but I would, if you want to spend the money and put ceramics on it, there's nothing wrong with those.
Okay.
They work great.
It's a better pad.
It's a better way to go.
Because I've always heard that they tend to gloss up or something on the rotors.
No,
they should the new technology.
Yeah, not anymore. Again, sounds like you're talking to somebody that did brakes, 10, 15 years ago. The new,
right?
Not anymore. Those problems aren't an issue anymore.
Yeah, I used to do brakes on a lot older vehicles.
There you go. Yeah, between the metallurgy, the brake compound itself, and the machining techniques we've got today, the manufacturing processes, it's just much better than it used to be.
Okay. Now, can I ask one more quick question?
Of course you can. Yes, definitely.
What type of hardware? Some of them come with the shims and whatnot, and I don't know what the hardware, I'm not really sure about the hardware on these for the pads, It depends on which ones you buy, but,
A lot of times, like if you buy the Napa ADOs, they come with all the hardware, the new replacement. Depends on which year and that kind of thing. I don't know particularly on yours, but that's what I like. I like the ADOs, which is the Napa brand. And that
the ADOs.
Yeah, that Adaptive One is the word they use. What's our terminology for it? But I like that pad.
Yeah, I do too.
And it works really good. It's designed well for your car. And it'll have, a lot of times, it'll have the shims and everything on there.
Okay. Because you got to replace those usually as a rule, right?
I like it. I like to. And that makes a better
brake job.
Yeah, and less problems.
And make sure you're putting your graphite grease on all your slides and all those different things too, and on the back of the pads where they contact the calipers and all that, so you don't get the squeak and all that out of them.
Yeah, the graphite. Okay.
Yeah, use some graphite grease.
Yeah, and then a lot of times the ADOs have it in there, so it's already there. You don't have to buy it.
Prepackaged. Yep.
Yeah, so that helps.
Okay. Well, I sure appreciate your show. So
you're very welcome, Dan. Thank you. So we appreciate you listening. So if we wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for you listening, so we appreciate that very much. Line open 303-477-5600. Doug in Denver, you're on next. What's going on?
Hey, I've got a Jeep Cherokee and the oil light came on, or the check engine light came on. The oil pressure was at 0 when it was idling.
Okay.
Only did it once. It's a 4.7 motor in a 2001.
Okay, so that's the 4.7 V8.
Yeah, who makes that?
That's a Mercedes engine.
Oh,
It's a very expensive engine, actually.
I was afraid of that.
Yeah, it is, and it's unusual for them to have that low of oil pressure. So, do you think it actually had low oil pressure, or was there? Do you think maybe the sending unit's going bad, or has it done it since?
I was told it only did it once.
Okay, so it only went low once. Oil's all good, changed.
It will be soon.
Okay.
I told her, I said, how's the oil? I said, what oil,
Well, yeah, start there. Make sure.
Good filter.
And that is an engine that you want to make sure that because of how expensive it is, I'm not saying you need to overdo the oil changes. I mean, you can still go 5,000 miles on a synthetic oil change on that engine pretty easily, but just make sure they're getting it.
Now, she told me the manual on it said not to use synthetic oil in that vehicle.
No, you can use synthetic in it. It works fine.
What is it that they want to avoid?
I have no clue, and I don't know why it would even be in the manual, because I've never read a manual yet that said don't use synthetic oil.
Huh. I'll have to double backtrack on her and
Steve,
find
unless
out.
Steve knows something I know of.
I was just
never read an owner's manual yet that said don't use synthetic oil. It's a better quality oil, so I don't know why they would not want you to use it.
Yeah, I learn something new every day. But that Mercedes motor, that's a good motor.
It's a good motor. It's expensive to fix, so you want to run it as long as you can because they are expensive to fix. But it's a good engine.
Okay, yeah, I'd heard like the BMW, they have their own idea on oil.
Yes, they do.
The German engineers.
Yes, they do.
I have figured that was part of the shtick with this one.
And most of the Germans like synthetic oil. That's why I would be really surprised if that engine said don't use synthetic oil, because that does not sound correctly.
Well, I've got some research to do now.
Yeah. You can. Let me just say this: in all the years I've worked on Jeeps, you can run synthetic oil in it without any problems.
Is that also likely going to be a Mercedes transmission?
That's
automatic.
I think that's an Aisin transmission that's in that, I believe. So it's not a German transmission, but it is a foreign-made transmission.
All right. Are they pretty good generally?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was not bad.
Good luck. Flush it. Keep up.
And don't quote me on that transmission. I'm going from memory from 01. So
yeah.
But no, they're not a bad transmission.
Is the 4.7 in the Dodge Durango, is that also
same engine?
Same engine.
Different intake, but same engine.
Same engine. Okay. Wow. Because that neighbor had one got new intake gaskets. Like intake gaskets?
Mm-hmm.
Never done that on my Chevy small blocks.
Nope. Well, no, totally different setup. I mean, it's a different engine. Totally different engine.
Well, there you go. It's the experience. Well, thanks, guys.
You're very welcome, Doug. Thanks for calling us. We appreciate that very much. And that's a good engine, actually, by the way. There's nothing wrong with it. So here's an email that came in from Mike. Working on an 01 Power Stroke. Have to get into work with the glow plug, so I'm thinking about putting a CFM, a bigger intake, basically on it, since it'll be that far into it. I already have the Banks air filter, a Super Chips tuner, and straight exhaust on it. What are your thoughts on the intake? Anything you can do to get more air into that diesel engine is going to make more power, Mike. So if you want to do it, go for it. Yes, it will be an increase in horsepower. So if you got the money you want to spend on the intake, go for it. Not going to, the labor's already there. So if you want to replace it and do that, go for it. I'll send you an email back and tell you the same thing, but that's what I would do if I were you.
Awesome.
So, all right, let's see if we can do one more. Let's do one more question before we go to our next break. Steve, you're up next. What's going on today?
Hey, guys. I just recently acquired a Mercedes 2005 ML350.
Okay.
And it's just really a sweet vehicle. What do I need? Since I've never had a Mercedes before, are there any things that you really have to be more, be aware of or do differently that you would, anything else? It's got 78,000 miles.
And I missed the model. I'm sorry, I missed the model and engine again. What is it?
It's an ML350, so it's got the bigger V6.
Yep, ML350. No, I mean, I would run synthetic oil if it were me, and I think Mercedes would probably want you to do that anyways. Your maintenance will be a little higher on that vehicle than it would be something else, just because there's just more to maintain on the vehicle than there is other cars. Outside of that, it's a good car. Should run 300,000+ miles, and you're a great vehicle to own. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I love it. It's a sweet ride. Since it's all-wheel drive, say if I went 5,000 on an oil change, would that be a good time to rotate the tires every oil change?
Yes, that'd be a great idea. And that's a great. That's actually one of my favorite vehicles. So, I like the vehicle you just bought. So I think you made a good choice on the vehicle. That's a tough vehicle to beat. To be real honest with you, it works out really well.
Great. Well, it's nice to hear that because you buy something and try and do your research and But yeah, I'm really happy with it. So
Yeah, no, that's a good car. I mean, that was one of the better SUVs of its day, and it works great. And just make sure you keep up on your maintenance. And do you have maintenance records on it from buying it? Do you know what's been done to it up to this point?
actually, I do. Yeah, they've done the brakes and the
Perfect.
rotors, and so everything that's been done, and it wasn't done at a dealership. It was Dave's Repair in Greenwood Village.
Okay.
I don't know if was one of your people.
No, but that's okay.
No. But anyway, I know going to the dealer's a killer. So
Yeah, no,
I know
and that's the sort of thing that, we're working on getting a facility up in Greeley that can help us out. In fact, Steve's got some contacts up there. He's going to try to help us get a shop up in Greeley, round it up, because we get 2 or 3 phone calls a week from Greeley pretty easily. So we're going to see if we can get you guys in Greeley somebody that can be associated with us.
Okay, great. Well, hey, thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Steve. Thanks so much for the phone call. We appreciate it. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Lines are open. Call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Anything at all that you want to talk about, we'll get your questions answered. John Rush, Steve Horvath from Geno's in Littleton. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Have you failed an emissions test and don't know what to do? Have you been trying to fix it yourself? Arvada West is your answer. We score 100% on our success ratio. That's confidence for the customer. We are always willing to explain the repair process to you. We use a proven diagnostic format that we have developed since the emissions program began here in Colorado. For an honest, understandable, and reasonably priced diagnosis, stop by and see us. We've helped clean our Colorado air since 1981. Call Arvada West Auto and Truck 303-422-1065 or see us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com. If you would like to stop by to make an appointment, we are at 11752 West 64th Avenue.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
Are your tires unsafe? If it's time to get new tires, don't go to a tire shop. Instead, let QuickTread bring its mobile tire shop to you. One call to 720-588-9055, and QuickTread's tire experts will help you choose the best tires for your vehicle, lifestyle, and budget. Then, QuickTread will bring its state-of-the-art mobile tire shop to your home or workplace and mount and balance your new tires right there, all while you relax and enjoy the 3 hours you didn't spend going to a regular tire shop. Give QuickTread a call at 720-588-9055 and see how much better buying new tires can be.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, John Rush and Steve Horvath from Geno's. And we've had a lot of Steves call in today, so that's good. And Steve is on with us. So lines are open. Call us, 303-477-5600. Before we do that, though, Steve brought something down which I thought was interesting. And this is well, you explain. This is the copy of a extended warranty.
Extended warranty out of a customer's
the
car.
fine print in the extended warranty.
Yes.
Okay.
And a couple of things we liked about it. One of them, it said, make sure you keep all your records. I like that one.
Okay.
But it did talk about having a requirement to do 3 months, 3,000 miles on your oil change. And didn't matter whether you had a car that required only 7,000 or 5,000 or.
I don't know how they can enforce that.
So then so if you don't follow this, will that spoil your warranty?
That's a
Your
great
extended
question.
warranty.
And the thing that I would be afraid of being these individuals that are writing the extended warranty is being able to back that up factually, where if something happened because you had changed oil at 5,000 miles with synthetic oil, for example, and now all of a sudden there's an engine problem, I think they're going to have a hard time not paying out on a claim.
Sure, but they'll figure out any way they can.
Which
they do well at that.
To Steve's point, read the fine print on any type of extended warranty that you own, including non-automotive stuff. But my recommendation on extended warranties on new cars, don't buy them.
They're not.
You don't need them. Take the money that you normally would have spent on that extended warranty and put it in a bank account. Let that, and granted, we don't make a lot of interest today, but let it sit there, let it accumulate a little bit of interest. And if you need something on down the road, some sort of repair pops up, you'll have the money that you need. Chances are you'll have money in the bank by the time the extended warranty would have ran out if you take care of your maintenance properly, which in most cases, the extended warranties are going to require that anyways. That's kind of where Steve's going with this.
They're making you do it anyway.
So if you don't do it, your extended warranty is not going to work anyway. So you might as well just take care of the car. And if you do, you don't need the extended warranty.
Yeah, I mean, 1 out of 10 ever pay way they should.
Thank you. They just don't work. That's right. There's always a horror story that goes along with them. Jeff Kitty also texted me a minute ago, and the Chrysler, so the 01 Chrysler that we were talking about earlier with the 4.7, that's a 5.5 RFE Chrysler-made transmission, Jeff says. Oh. So it's not an ACE, and it's a Chrysler transmission, 55 RFE. So I'm glad Jeff's listening and straight. I couldn't remember back. That's too many years ago. But that's why Jeff and Larry, the transmission experts, are inside of Drive Radio and help us out on a regular basis because they keep us straight on that. And Jeff just did a transmission for me this past week. So do I highly recommend those guys when it comes to transmission work? Absolutely. There's your answer. And everything else that they can do, but they're just like all the rest of our Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. They can do all of that. But Larry and Jeff do some transmission work for some of our other auto cares that are inside of Colorado Select. So do we recommend them highly? Yes, absolutely we do. And because a lot of guys don't do transmission work anymore, it's just
too specialized.
Too specialized. Yeah, you really need to know your stuff, know where to buy parts, know how everything works inside that particular transmission. So in that particular case, we just let somebody like Jeff do it for us, and away we go, and it works out really, really well, and they take care of it for us, and off we go. So line's open. I should have mentioned that a minute ago, 303-477-5600. I realize that it is an absolutely beautiful Colorado Saturday afternoon, but hey, call us if you got a question, and we'll answer it. And give us your ugly car comment. Doesn't matter what it is. Whatever ugly car you've got, let us know, and we'll talk about it on air. 303-477-5600. And some of you had some really good ones earlier, and some of you emailed us with a few others, which is kind of good. In fact, here's one that just came in. Peugeot 403 on the TV show Columbo.
Oh, yes.
That's my good friend Ken in Westminster. And yeah, I would say the Peugeot 403 fits that description really well.
There's a couple of Volvos that look similar to that, too. I remember that.
The old Volvos were pretty ugly.
Yeah, some of those. Yeah.
Sorry. Now, the new Volvos, pretty classy. The old Volvos, not so classy.
That I was gonna tell you that. I was like, I don't know what the Swedish people were thinking about back in the late 70s and early 80s.
Maybe they weren't.
I don't know what kind of designs they were having. These are the same people that made IKEA. So I mean, let's
that's
think
true.
about that.
Well, speaking of new cars, they all actually look pretty well. Car I drove the other day, I talked about the Kia earlier. Another great car, value car, I think, works fantastic. The Avalon Hybrid, Toyota Avalon Hybrid, great car, really quiet, 40 miles to the gallon, fantastic features. And that car looks good. They've changed the look of that car a few years ago. They're going to redesign it again next year, but that car just looks fantastic. It's sort of the sister to the ES hybrid version that Lexus has, and the car just works phenomenal. I just don't know how else to say it. It really does. It works great. So call screening on who's on one, Matt. Can you tell me? Who's on one? Any idea? Give me a name, and I'll get them up here on the show, and we'll keep on rolling here. 303-477-5600. We have one line open, and as soon as Matt screens this up, I'll get the next caller on for you, and we'll get rolling right along. We've only got about 20 minutes left of the show. And we're going to have Scott Watley on. He's actually got a story he wants to talk about automotive-wise, and he's going to tell us what's coming on with Sportsman of Colorado, too, here in just a little bit. But, Jimmy, you're up next. What's going on?
Good day.
Good day. How you doing?
Oh, not doing too bad.
Good.
I just I listened to the program, and I hadn't heard the anybody throw in one of the nominees for ugly newer cars.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It'd probably be the Scion Cube.
Yeah, that's an ugly car.
Yep. I don't know what they were thinking with that thing. I looked at it and I said, it looks like they modeled it after the shrunken head of Frankenstein or something.
It's not a very good looking car.
Yeah, I guess people
toaster on wheels.
I don't think, rumor has it, I don't think you're going to see that car much longer. That's not, don't quote me on that because I don't know that for positive, but I think that car is going to get phased out.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll use it for. Maybe bricks or whatever. They're the right shape.
It's a functional car, but not a very good looking car.
Yeah, I hear people who have them are really pleased with the mileage you get out of them. And they're fun cars or whatever. But
doesn't it look like a toaster on wheels?
A toaster. Well, like I said, to me it looked like the shrunken head of Frankenstein.
Well, and it's actually, make sure that I get this correctly too, because the Scion is the XB and the Nissan is the Cube, and they look very close to one another.
Yeah.
So they both are the same. They're not the same car because one is Toyota, one is Nissan, but they look very, very similar.
Right. One is the newer ones have got the more rounded edges.
Yes.
They did look like a Cube before.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Also, I had a quick update. I was talking to somebody who's at the elections for
Yes.
the state chair today,
Yes.
and apparently we have a brand new state chair.
Yes, we do. Now, I've actually announced that just a little bit ago, but Steve House actually, he's our new state chair for the Republican Party.
So that's something to look forward to. We've had some very egregious problems in the past with the one we had before, so this is a chance to really
Yes, it is.
hit
Yes,
the
it
ground
is.
running and make some things happen.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about that on Monday, Jimmy, so stay tuned and listen to us during the week. We'll talk about that Monday.
Yep, we'll do.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate it very much. 303-477-5600. Let's go to Howard in Parker, who is up next. Howard, what's going on? All right. Sorry, your name just changed on my screen. It's Auntie now. So who is this?
This is Bill.
Bill? Okay. I don't have the right screen up, but that's fine. Bill, what's going on?
No problem.
We'll go with Bill.
Yeah, Bill works for me.
Okay. In owner's manuals, you were talking about oil and stuff like that. I have seen over the years where it has a little circle with the API, this, that, and the other thing. And they say to use one that says energy conserving and then a Roman numeral 2. I have never seen that in a store. Does it really exist, or is this some pipe dream of car manufacturers?
Say that again.
Roman numeral 2.
Roman numeral 2.
Energy conserving 2. I think it's a Roman numeral 2. It could be a number 2.
Okay. And that's on the bottle on your oil right
No,
now?
it's not on the bottle. It's in the owner's manual.
Okay. Got it. What are you driving?
Oh, take your pick.
Anything.
GMC 2000 Sierra pickup truck. We recently got a 98 Honda Civic. The owner's manual said that in it as well. But instead of just energy conserving, it says energy conserving 2.
Yeah, and I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
And all the late model oils are of course, especially all the way back to your 2000. All the oils you're going to buy today will be compatible with that truck, no problem.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. But it's like I said, I've never seen that. I figured I'd ask somebody in the business if they had ever seen it. So,
you know what? If you can take a picture of that and email it to me, I'd love to see it.
I'll see what I can do.
If you just send it straight to john@drive-radio.com. I'd love to see it.
Okay.
I'll research it, and we'll come back next week, and I'll have you an answer.
One other ugly vehicle.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone mentioned the Element.
Oh, it is a really ugly car.
What was it? Somebody once told me the Element it is butt uglydom.
I'd buy that. Yeah. No, it is an ugly car. You're right about that. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
Thanks,
you.
man. Appreciate it very much, Bill. And sorry for getting your name wrong there to begin with. That just go off of what's on my screen. So let's go to Ray in Littleton, who is up next. Ray, welcome.
Hey, John. Hey, I just bought a 2014 Focus ST.
Okay.
And, it's my daily driver.
Okay.
And it's a fun car to drive. But, with the whole thing with, avoiding warranty and stuff like that with any kind of modifications, what are the safe ways to go on what you can? I mean, if I put a K&N air filter on there.
Won't void that cannot by law void your warranty, and K&N will stand behind that, all day long. So that's not a problem. So that's an easy upgrade.
So when you say they'll stand behind me,
K&N will go to bat for you if a dealer comes back and says, Ray, that voided your warranty. K&N will step in and handle that problem for you.
wow, that's great. As far as any other, like, let's say I've heard of friends of mine doing little, like SCT tuners on there, or, bigger intercooler. I don't see where a bigger intercooler is a problem.
It could be. That when you get into changing the actual, hardware of the vehicle, it gets a little dicey. Now, technically, it's up to the dealership, or Ford in this case, to prove that intercooler caused some sort of an additional problem. But let's say, for example, you get in a situation where there's an overboost, the engine gets hot, it overheats, it melts down, and they can come back and say, well, if you hadn't put that bigger intercooler on it, you wouldn't have had that problem. You probably don't have much to stand on at that point.
I mean, you think if you put a bigger intercooler on there, it would actually help, make it more efficient, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but you've changed everything from their factory specs with their tuning, with mapping of the actual, curves, and when it comes to the powertrain management and so on. And when you do all of that, yes, you could throw some things for a loop at that point.
Okay, so let's talk about a tuner then. You throw a tuner on.
And technically that could also.
Okay, that's good to know.
But again, it's here's where it gets really, really weird, and this is where K&N will step in. And they're one of the only companies that I know of in that area that will do what I just said they'll do. You put an SCT tuner on it and something blows up and they don't void the warranty, you know what SCT is going to tell you? Tough noogies.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured.
K&N will step in and say, wait a minute, time out. We've done all the testing, all the R&D. We know this is not going to have any ill effect on the engine. And Mr. Dealer, you either warranty Ray's engine or we'll get Ray's engine handled and sue you. And I've seen them do that.
That makes sense. Okay, so let's say exhaust.
Okay.
Aftermarket exhaust. You improve the exhaust, the breathing and the exhaust.
Same situation.
They will step up.
If K&N is building the exhaust kit, yes, but they don't do a lot of exhaust kits to the public.
Okay, so
I have to be careful how I say that. They build some stuff for the OEM, but they don't sell it across the counter retail.
So are there any other things that you could recommend to do to the car to enhance performance aside from K&N that would not?
That you won't have a warranty issue with? Probably not.
That's not
I mean, you'd be surprised. I've seen dealerships even get down to getting ticky-tack over, a wheel change and things along those lines. So, and I know a lot of this from experience because we did, performance upgrades, wheels, tires, lift kits, all those different things for many, many, many years. And I've seen dealers nitpick the dumbest things. It's just a matter of how much fighting do you want to do with the dealer when it comes to that stuff. Now, can you typically win? Yes, if you push hard enough, but you're going to have hassles when you do things.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So, well, that answers my questions. I just wanted to know if there are any other, things we could do to the car to make it,
I mean, everything you mentioned is a yes. It's just a matter of whether you want to fight over it when it comes to the warranty side of the fence.
Not particularly.
And K&N is easy because they'll step in and fight for you. That's what makes them so easy.
And they're about the only manufacturer that'll do that.
Only
right?
one I've ever known of in all the 30-plus years of doing this I've ever seen step in and actually sue a manufacturer over a problem. And I've seen them do it.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Yep, it's very big.
Okay, well, John, thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Ray. Thanks so much for the phone call. With that, let's take a quick break. We got a couple of calls still coming up. Scott Watley's going to join us, and we will be back. Don't go away. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
We've all been there. You run to the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
24 seconds. I timed it. It took me just 24 seconds to find a AAA certified master mechanic who offers the best peace of mind warranty in the state. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. At ColoradoSelect.org, I search my city and boom, I'm done. Colorado Select Auto Care puts their member shops through a rigorous set of requirements, so I know no matter which shop I choose, I'll get the best auto repair service possible. That's 24 seconds well spent. ColoradoSelect.org.
When we were kids, we'd send away for stuff. A couple of box tops and $3. 8 weeks later, you'd get a cheap fire truck in the mail. X-ray glasses, decoder rings, tiny seahorses. It was always a disappointment. Now that you're an adult, do you really think it's a good idea to send away for a rebuilt transmission? No. Larry's Automotive and Transmission is a much smarter choice. The ASC certified technicians will rebuild your transmission, work in-house using premium quality parts and local vendors whenever possible. You shouldn't have to wait weeks for a rebuild to arrive when Larry's can do it locally at a better price and a much quicker turnaround time. Larry's Automotive and Transmission is a member of the Colorado Select family of Napa Auto Care Centers and ATRA, which means their transmission repairs are covered under warranty all around the country. Due to construction in the area, please call Larry's at 303-427-2108 for directions and to schedule your appointment. 303-427-2108. Larry's Automotive and Transmission, the best service possible.
All right, John Rush, Steve from Geno's, and Scott Watley just joined me. Drive Radio, KLZ 560. We'll take a couple calls real quick, then we'll get to Scott. Randy, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. Yeah, I have a 2004 Ford Taurus SEL with 95,000 miles on it. And about 5,000 miles ago, the front suspension started sounding real loose, making clunking sounds when I go over a bump.
Okay.
Feeling loose after it hit a bump, it would continue to vibrate, kind of like a soft shock or something like that. And so I went ahead and replaced the struts. Replaced all 4 struts, brand new, original equipment, Monroe's, and it's continued to do it. When I take it for service, I service at a dealer, and I ask them to check it, and they say everything is fine. So I was just kind of curious if there's something else that loosens up in there, and if it really is something that I need not worry about, or if there's something typical in that SEL suspension that
sway bar links.
It's much worse.
Things. Sway bar links is one of the things I was thinking we should have checked, just to make that's kind of in that suspension. They make noise. They also handle a lot of the handling. So I would be surprised
it feels a lot softer. It doesn't feel as tight. I loved that suspension for that car, before, and it just kind of lost its tightness and.
I'd like to look at it
for noise.
Yeah, I'd like to drive it and look at it myself and see what I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you mean there's really no reason to have any noise coming out of there. Period. Any car should not have any noise coming out of the front end. If there is, there's something loose, something worn out, something.
Okay. Well, where would you recommend I could get that checked from?
Where are you at, Randy?
I'm in North Denver.
North Denver. Go up and see either Dorsey Johnson or Nevada West, or go see Larry and Jeff at Larry's Automotive. Either one.
Okay.
Okay.
And one more quick question.
Yes.
I've really maintained that car well, and it's obviously low mileage for its age and been very well maintained.
Okay.
So I was kind of curious, with those conditions, what, if anything, you have a feel for the average life expectancy, drivetrain, engine, and transmission for that?
Oh, Steve, you probably know that better than I do.
The trannies don't last very long.
No.
But they're not a 100,000 mile type deal. But drivetrains do pretty well.
Yeah, the rest of it's good. And again, if you go to Larry's in Westminster, Larry and Jeff does all the transmission work for a lot of us inside of our Colorado Select group. They can help you with that too.
Okay, super.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for the phone call. And let's go to Mickey, who's up next. Mickey, welcome.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, hey, thanks. Yeah, I didn't think about that today. I should have known that.
Anyway, the old Saabs were...
Oh, yeah.
They were round. They looked like the Saab 96 looked like an upside down bathtub.
Bathtub with wheels under it.
And then the Saab 99 was just odd.
Yeah, they were. You're right about that.
Those are my nominees.
Definitely. All right, Mickey. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for calling in. All right, Mr. Watley. What's coming up on Sportsman's of Colorado? Then you had something else you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, John, today we've got Alan Stack with Stack Optical, and Alan's going to be talking about his shooting glasses and hunting glasses. And I was actually in his shop the other day, and a gentleman, he lets you bring your firearm unloaded into the shop, and he can get it the opposite end, in other words, looking down the barrel the opposite way to see how you're looking through the scope or through open sights with a handgun, and just to make sure that he can get the
very cool
corrected lens just right.
Very cool.
In a sunglasses, or
so he'll actually watch how you shoot and adjust.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So we're going to be talking about that. And then our friend from Phoenix Weaponry, Aaron Tracy.
Yep.
They're going to be joining us.
We'll get Aaron on drive ready here before too long. Once I slow down long enough to do it.
And be talking about suppressors.
Very cool.
Or the cool term silencers. All right. And we don't have time to get into this, but just a couple of things, with Haystack.
We got 5 minutes. We're good.
We get into different things with clients and customers. And this gentleman's actually a friend of mine. And normally, and I know you'll agree with this, you've been in life long enough to realize there's two sides to every story.
Yes.
I don't care who they are. Okay. But just like if you came to me and you told me a complaint about a business, I would trust you and believe you, in the same I do with my friend.
Right.
And went to a Meineke in Highlands Ranch, and basically guys just really messed him around there. Went for an oil change. Now,
that's pretty simple.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, it is. I'll just be blunt. That's a simple thing.
They said they found out that they had over tightened the oil plug.
Okay.
When he called Meineke manager, they told him it was impossible for them to over tighten a plug.
Not true.
Now, so I was going to look at you and say true or false.
No,
okay.
Let me explain that too real quick. Any device that has threads on it, which a drain plug has, can be over tightened, and when you do, it either stresses or strips the threads that are there to hold that particular bolt, or in this case, a plug. Think of a drain plug as a short bolt with threads that's got a flat sealing surface where a ring can go on it to actually seal the oil when it hits the oil pan. That's all a drain plug is.
Okay.
A bolt with a nice shoulder and a flat spot to mate up to the oil pan to keep the oil inside. That's it.
Okay.
So here's the real question. Can you over tighten a bolt?
Yeah. I mean, it's just about anything.
There you go. There's your answer.
Right. And so then he wanted to go to somewhere else to get it fixed. The guy pleaded for him not to go to corporate or talk to a district manager.
Of course.
Red flag.
Of course.
And he offered a free car and 2 to 3 free oil changes. He asked for the district manager. He said he didn't have their number.
Of course.
Again.
Another red flag.
So just a few things to go through. And one thing, the main reason telling this story, one is, I don't care who it is, your Meineke, your Brakes Plus, Grease Monkeys, we've had millions of complaints against all those. I looked up Meineke right now, 302 complaints on Meineke as a whole in the Denver area. Now, there's several stores. They're all operated by different people, so I want to be fair.
But you won't find 302 against Colorado Select.
This is my point. Why would you want to take your car anywhere else than and I'm not just saying this because I'm here and
I know
we do radio together, but why would you want to take your car anywhere else? First of all, you don't have to talk to district manager. You've got the owners of these stores on air
every week.
There's nowhere to hide. And plus, you know what? They don't want to hide.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And you take a Grease Monkey, they're going to change they're not looking for anything else. Most of your other guys will kind of do
That's right. We want to know what's going on with the rest of the vehicle.
Look over, maybe prioritize. Hey, you know what? Here's something you need to look at down the road.
That's right.
And so, again, there's two sides to every story on this Meineke deal. We're going to follow it up because I want to find out exactly everything that's gone on. But
those are red flags. Some of the things that Scott just mentioned. When you're anywhere and you can't get a hold of the person that quote unquote's in charge, in this case, a district manager, somebody else to talk to, or when they're wanting to give you a bunch of free stuff to try to make up for something that they know they did wrong. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but let's make sure the original problem is taken care of first.
Sure. And then my last question, I asked you guys right before we came on. From a business standpoint, and both you guys own businesses, if there's a problem and everybody gets a chance to make something right, and like I say, Jake Jones taught me that.
That's right.
What is that? When does that line cross? Is
2
it
to 3 times?
After 2 times? Is it 3 times?
I typically, for me personally, when I'm out dealing with somebody, 2 to 3 times. If you're not getting what you need from that particular vendor, from that supplier, from that that person that's doing your work for you. For example, you get your heater worked on at home.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't get that right after the second time, I'm probably calling somebody else.
Right.
Same thing with car repair. If you go in and you're getting feel like you're kind of getting jacked around and things aren't working like they should, 2, maybe 3 times, depending upon the situation. Now, if it's an intermittent, tough problem, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this. You go in and you can't get this drain plug thing resolved in the first or second visit. You probably need to find somebody else that can help you. So, guys, we can talk more about this next week. Scott's coming up next. I don't want to steal his time, so I won't. Listen to the Blaze News first. Scott Watley is next with Sportsman's of Colorado. Steve Horvath, thank you for coming down. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Matt Matulik, our engineer, and Larry Younger, our producer. Drive Radio will be back next week, same time, same place, and I'll be back Monday on Rush to Reason at 3 p.m. for your drive home. Scott Watley will be here at noon on Monday, and have a great weekend. Take care. God bless. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
So near, a guy on my mind. It's not the person that you were.